with the likes of Bray, he can come through and really disrupt an offense. The Arizona coaches feel like they have to double team him most of the day.
Okay, we'll talk more about the clubs. And right now, the Bulldogs of Georgia, along with the Wildcats of Arizona, ready to come on to the field. And here comes Georgia. Georgia with 3 losses this year, all at the hands of teams who are playing in bowl games. And Vince Dooley, 22 years, the head coach of the Dogs. And now the Wildcats of Arizona. It's been 6 years since they've been in a bowl game. They have not been on television for 2 years due to the probationary status. And I think it's an understatement to say they want to come and play. And Larry Smith, his 6th year, building his own tradition at Arizona. He has won some very big games since he has come to Tucson. Okay, let's go on now and talk about the two teams. Larry Smith has quite a weapon in Max Zendejas. He's averaged over 8 points a game.
Well, Max Zendejas forces you to change your whole defensive game plan. You know, he ordinarily defend a 100-yard field, but with Zendejas, you're really defending a 50-yard field. In his career, he has 14 field goals of 50 yards or better. Now, Georgia is not a great blitzing team this year. They have been in the past, but they haven't been this year. But today, they're going to have to blitz and stunt more to try to take Arizona out of field goal range.
Another similarity about these two teams, Pat, is they both pride themselves in being excellent fourth-quarter clubs.
Well, Arizona's theme this year has been find a way to win in the fourth quarter. The Arizona State game is characteristic of that. They were trailing 13-3. The special teams scored a touchdown, and the defense created a fumble. They ended up winning 16-13. And I don't know how many times we've seen Georgia win in the fourth quarter. They've had really a tradition and a history of that. They believe in endurance. It's not enough that they want to win, but they expect to win in the fourth quarter. And in today's game, Gary, I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and it's going to be a 3-point game, a field goal, or perhaps a 2-point play.
Okay, the stage is set as we will be joining with our other broadcast associate on the sideline. The captain's now coming to the center of the field for the flip of the coin. We'll be back to introduce you to another member of our broadcast team after this. Welcome to sunny El Paso, the 52nd Sun Bowl, and now another member of our broadcast team, the former option quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners. Here's Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary, and happy holidays, everyone. 1964 was quite a year in college football. 2 platoon football returned, and it was here to stay. Alabama won one of the toughest races for the national championship, but for a young Vince Dooley, it was his first trip to a Sun Bowl, to a bowl game ever. And he brought his Georgia Bulldogs in against Texas Tech University, and it was a 7-0 victory for Vince Dooley. Then history documents very much his career. 17 bowl teams since that time, 6 conference championships, and 1 national conference championship. So for Vince Dooley, this is a homecoming party. They are one of the teams that are the halves of college football. But for Arizona, it's a contrast. For Larry Smith, his football team's coming off of a 2-year probation, overlapped 3 years, a 3-year investigation process by the NCAA. It was a long, drawn-out affair, and Larry Smith wants to prove a point. It's underscored that Arizona may be one of the unknowns of college football by yesterday's Sun Bowl luncheon. Larry Smith was introduced as Larry Price. Arizona is here in the 52nd annual Sun Bowl game to let it be known that they got to get the names right, and I think they will today. Gary?
All right, Steve, glad to have you with us. Look at this. The temperature's 54. It's going to be just gorgeous today. I don't think you could have a better weather day for football, and of course the hospitality's been just as warm. Georgia won the toss. However, they deferred. Arizona, as an end result, will receive the football, and this is Steve Crumley, the freshman out of Athens, who will be kicking off from left to right. Back deep is Jeff Fairholm along with David Eldridge. Eldridge is number 25. First meeting ever between these two clubs. Hits it deep. Eldridge lets it go out of the back of the end zone. And Arizona Arizona will be at the 20-yard line. Let's look now at the Wildcats offense. Jenkins, he has been this year a little bit down statistically, but he's their leader. McLemore, his first start at fullback. Adams is only 5'6". Fairholm is a Canadian. Horton is their big play man, and Howell is an excellent blocker at the tight end spot.
You know, Gary, Alfred Jenkins is an excitable quarterback. They have to bring him out actually early before the game to warm up because he has so much adrenaline pumping. They want to start him off slowly, and they're very concerned about the Georgia defense, the pressure they can put on the quarterback. But they want to get him off to a nice, slow, smooth start.
From the 20, Jenkins sends in motion Howell, the tight end. Pitch to David Adams. And Adams goes for maybe 2 yards. Arizona this year tried to establish their running game. That's one reason Jenkins' stats are down a little bit from a year ago. One reason they've been able to run the ball more effectively is up front. DeGiacomo, he is now starting at left tackle today. He was starting at guard. But Chekas, a former nose guard, now at left guard. Toffelmeyer, he has greatness ahead of him. Denton was hurt after the first 6 games, back in the starting lineup. And Clayton, he played 1 year at BYU. Second down now, 8 from the 22. That's Fairholm in motion. Give to McLemore. McLemore gets to the 24. He'll be 6 yards short of the first down. McLemore, a transfer from the University of Colorado. The Junkyard Dogs.
Boy, they are aggressive. They can put pressure on you. Like we said early, they have an 8-man front, which is a little bit unusual. They really come after you. It's a variation of the wide tackle 6. You don't see it much, but Vince Dooley has believed in it, run it for 22 years there at Georgia, and they've been pretty doggone successful with it.
We have come to a third down. You see how effectively the Wildcats have handled that, and now we have movement. That was the right side tackle, Reed Clayton, who moved on the play, and so now, instead of 3rd and 6, they're going to be backed up even farther. All of the officials are from the Big 8, and you are looking now at John Laurie. Frank Gaines will be the head linesman. Tom Ehlers, the line judge. Paul Brown, the field judge. Mike Bogart, the side judge. Terry Porter, the back judge. And also Dan Upson, who will be working this game. Larry Smith in his 6th year. He was an assistant with Bo Schembechler in Michigan, assistant at Arizona, the head coach at Tulane before coming to Arizona. 3rd and 11. From the shotgun. Jenkins having pressure. Gets a big block and throws incomplete, intended for David Adams. Arizona felt maybe Adams was interfered with, but it was Henry Williams who came storming through and made Jenkins give ground to throw the ball.
Well, this Georgia defense really invites you to throw the ball. Again, with an 8-man front, they only have 3 defenders. But the problem is avoiding the rush. Now, with Jenkins, they want to get him outside of the rush by bringing him out on rollouts, some bootlegs, and throwing some screen passes. There, he just got too much pressure, though, from Henry Williams.
This is Ruben Rodriguez, who will punt, a junior out of Woodlake, California. He led the Pac-10 in net punting yardage. He'll be booting from the 5. Left footer, and he hit it very well. John Little is back for Georgia, and he had some trouble with the sun, but he has it, and they have him at the 42-yard line. A 40-yard punt that time, a 2-yard return. Don Beans was down there to make the stop for Arizona. Now let's look at the Georgia offense. Jackson has a little confidence problem right now. Now in the backfield, they have a combination of people. Henderson and Tate, along with Worley and McCluskey. All of them give them different dimensions. Then Lane at the flanker, you got to watch him on the reverses. Hockaday, he's 6'4" at that split in front.
They have 5 backs that average over 5 yards a carry, Gary.
You can see Lane goes in motion. Jackson pitches to Lars Tate, and Tate advances to the 45-yard line. Tate is coming off of a 120-yard game against Georgia Tech. Jackson, I mentioned very briefly, Pat, is struggling with his confidence.
Well, you know, that's a very difficult thing for a quarterback, because so much of quarterbacking is confidence. But their coaches have tried to put him in a very positive situation the last 2 weeks, have not asked much of him. He doesn't have to throw the ball 30 yards today, but he is going to run the option play more than Georgia normally does.
This time it's Tate again, and the sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, goes nowhere. Danny Lockett and Byron Evans, the leading tackler in the Pac-10. There he is. Come up to make the stop. All right, defensively, you looked at Byron Evans. This year, he only had 118 solo tackles. But offensively, Georgia. Sadowski's a redshirt freshman. Perry, a veteran on the left-hand side. Burrows came back from severe knee trouble. Anderson is a consensus All-American. Stevens, very smart and excellent pulling guard. Give straight ahead to Tate again, and Tate has the first down. Close to the 45-yard line of Arizona. Chuck Cecil, number 6, the strong safety up to make the stop for Arizona.
Well, this is what Georgia wants to do, is run the ball inside to start off the game. They're going to set up some outside plays, the option play a little bit later on, but early in the game, they want to run the ball between the tackles. However, they don't want to end up in 3rd and 8 like they did there. Although they converted, that's not their game. They have to be in 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s to win this football game.
Georgia was second in the Southeastern Conference in rushing. They like to run the ball right down your throat if they can. And here they come again. This time, David McCluskey, the fullback, swarmed down. He may have picked up a yard, and that's all. Jim Birmingham, 59, and Brent Wood, who's not big, but he's a torpedo-type player, gets up from the bottom of the pile.
Okay, now we've seen 4 straight inside running plays by Georgia. They have set up the option play and the outside sweep for Georgia. They should be coming this series.
McCluskey, an excellent blocker, and he'll share that fullback spot with Keith Henderson throughout the course of the day. 2nd down, 9. Straight ahead comes Tate. Tate to the 40-yard line, and Tate is picking up where he left off. He was so effective against the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. It was Birmingham again on the stop for Arizona. One thing that's happened to Arizona all year long, Pat, is they've been a slow-starting ball club. And now they find themselves 3rd and 5 defensively at the 40-yard line. Jackson on the play action. And he's going to be stormed down at the 50-yard line. Excellent reaction that time by Arizona. You see Lockett is back there. Brent Wood, 35. There's Wood. He's not big enough really to play 5'10", 211.
Well, Georgia found themselves in another 3rd and long situation. This was a 3rd and 5 or 6. And this is what they don't want to do. They don't want to have to throw the football. Good containment there by Brent Wood, number 35. Now, he's an inside linebacker, but they had a stun on. And the Arizona defense has come up with big plays all year long. Another one there by Wood.
Chris Carpenter will punt the football. Yet another freshman in the kicking game. He gets very good hang time. They're coming after him, and he got it off just in time. He hit that one very high, and the fair catch is called for by Derek Hill, 82, a freshman wide receiver. He was very fortunate to get that one off, a 35-yard punt. So Arizona has the football for the 2nd time. No score, 10:05 to go in the 1st quarter. 5 minutes. Let's go down to the sideline now. Here's Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. The Sun Bowl is appropriately named. I've talked to John Little, the Georgia punt returner. He's going to shade his eyes and fair catch almost every time until the sun gets higher. So for teams going from left to right on the football field, it's going to be extremely difficult. The sun's very tough, and the coaches are very concerned. John's not going to do anything but fair catch. Gary?
Steve, thank you. In the kicking game, both of these teams just excellent. And in that last time, they came after Carpenter. We expect that all game long.
Well, Arizona has blocked, 5 kicks this year.
Operating from the 12, Arizona has a first down. No score, 10:05 to go in the 1st quarter. That is Ryan Vickers, the tight end in motion. David Adams with the ball. And at 5'6", 168, he hit very hard. Picks up maybe a yard on the play. Bill Mitchell, the leading tackler, number 56 for the Bulldogs, and John Brantley assisted.
You know, we talked so much about the defense already, Gary, and these really 2 teams have different styles of defense than most in college football. The 8-man front by Georgia. And Arizona, you're going to see them shifting and moving people around because Georgia has a strong side defense and a weak side defense, and they're trying to create some problems because of that by moving their tight end around.
2nd down and 9. This time it's Howell in motion. That's that motion man that Pat is talking about. Here's Jenkins. He wants to take off, and his forward progress will go to the 17-yard line. Henry Williams, number 90, caught up with him, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 6. There's Williams. They have 2 Henrys. They have Henry Williams and Henry Harris, and they call this guy Henry II.
There's Miniature Ugmo. What's no Ugma 4?
Ugma 4, isn't that the real thing? The dog that runs around on the sideline?
I got one of those for my kids for Christmas. You wind these things up, you know.
3rd down 6. 8:53 to go. First quarter. Jenkins on the play action. Pressure on, and he rifles on a beautiful catch by Ryan Vickers. He fumbled the ball, and who's got it? Georgia has come up with the fumble recovery. Looks like Henry Harris. He's got it if, in fact, it holds.
Yeah, I haven't seen the official signal anything yet.
We're still debating. Yes, it is Georgia's football.
And there is Henry Harris, as you mentioned, making the recovery. He has been around the football so much, but Alfred Jenkins trying to avoid the rush of Georgia, the rollout pass again. But look at 99, Jake Richardson, again in his face. The ball is drilled to Ryan Vickers, the tight end, and then he just can't hold on. This is a swarming defense. Boom, a helmet hits, the ball comes out, and 52, who was in rushing the passer, then drops back and makes the recovery.
Bill Mitchell, they really separated the ball that time from Vickers. The ball was thrown hard. I was impressed with the catch, but Vickers just couldn't hang on. First down now at the 31 for Georgia. And Jackson on the keep. Jackson advancing to the 21. That's very close to the first down.
And there was the option play, Gary. Remember, this was set up by all those inside runs, the tackle-to-tackle plays. Arizona shut those inside runs down early by Georgia. Now we've seen Georgia come out with the option play with Jackson.
We also see Georgia coming out with their outstanding freshman tandem, Tim Worley and Keith Henderson, a tailback and fullback. There's something special. And here comes Henderson. Henderson, the freshman out of Cartersville, Georgia, their leading rusher this year, 6th in the SEC. He'll advance the ball inside the 20 and have the first down. Now coming off the field, and McCluskey will replace Henderson. And Henderson's been having problems with ankle. Vince Dooley told us he would do this from time to time, but he's seemingly able to come back in.
Well, it's funny. They've had, I think, 6 or 7 players with ankle injuries this year. Unusual for a team that plays on grass.
On the first down, straight ahead comes McCluskey, who just checked in. Look at the fired-up attitude of Byron Evans. You can see why he led the Pac-10 in tackles. He averages a tackle every 4 plays.
Look in the middle of your screen, number 64, Peter Anderson, the center. Now, Vince Dooley has called him the best center he's had in many, many years, but this time he gets beaten by the nose guard, Jim Birmingham, number 59 of Arizona, who fights off the block and is there to make the stop. That's what they're going to have good inside play by the Arizona defense.
They're glad to have Birmingham back. He got hurt way back the 1st of October in practice. His first game back since that time. On a 2nd down and 9, Worley, the other half of that freshman tandem, moves to about the 12-yard line. Brent Wood made the stop. Chuck Cecil also coming up. It'll be 3rd down now, 5 yards to go.
Here's a good look at Chuck Cecil, number 6. You know, one of the unusual things about this Arizona defense is their defensive backs are such good tacklers. You're going to see them supporting and hitting people up near the line of scrimmage.
2 excellent defensive plays. This is Worley. Worley has track speed. Look at the hitting going on, and he is pumped out of bounds. Should say hammered out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. Gordon Bunch came over there. They call him Crunch Bunch. You can understand why after a tackle like that.
Top left of the screen, we just talked about the secondary supporting on the run very well. Number 6, Chuck Cecil, the man is there to try to make the tackle on Worley. A leg tackle or arm tackle is not going to be enough. And then number 15, Gordon Bunch. I'm not sure who got the best of that, but Gordon Bunch is there to push Worley out of bounds.
So Vince Dooley has a 4th down, and he's going to go for it. 4th down and 2.
Remember, they have a hurt kicker. That's one of the reasons they're going to be going on 4th down.
They have Tate and McCluskey in. Straight ahead comes Tate, and we'll wait to see, as will this man.
Well, Vince Dooley told us this yesterday, Gary, that they were going to go on 4th down more than they ordinarily would because their kicker, Crumley, has that pulled groin.
They did not make it, according to Arizona. Now, they're going to bring the sticks in. The Arizona defense, when racing off the field, now they're waiting, and we'll wait on the measurement.
You know, coming into today's game, Georgia's been very good on 4th down. Out of 13 attempts on 4th down, they've converted 11 times.
They didn't get it. And Vince Dooley is upset. I think that's an understatement. Let's look at it again, Pat.
Again, a 4th and short yards. Tremendous inside pressure from the inside linebackers on Arizona. They torpedo right inside the line. There's no offensive surge there by the line. But number 35 again, Brent Wood is there. They call him the torpedo, and you understand why.
So El Paso on a beautiful day has seen some very hard-hitting football. No score.
Linebackers play very deep, and here number 35 Brent Wood is deep, and he can read the play. Now he is going to come in here and just stuff the hole as we take a look at Wood just torpedo in there and stop Worley in his tracks. And the fullback is supposed to block him. He dives right over the fullback, right into Worley to make a big stop on 4th down and prevent a possible score.
They talked, Mo Ankeny, the defensive coordinator, talked about Brent Wood. What did he call him?
The torpedo.
And that's exactly what he did. What is his Pat's perspective?
Well, I'm
Where did Ayers angle?
I'm surprised anybody can spell perspective around here.
All right, first down now from the 7. Adams trying to go wide, and it's tough. He gets to the 10, a gain of 3. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Billy Mitchell over there again to make the stop. And also 52, Henry Harris. Harris is a man who Georgia feels is vastly underrated, and he causes great concern for Arizona.
Well, Vince Dooley said he should have been nominated for some of the post-season honors, but he didn't get enough publicity. But he is a fine player, great quickness, and if you watch him line up, he is almost offsides every time he lines up.
He had 11 tackles for a loss this year to lead the team, and they are offside here. Now Waters, 59, jumped across. Let's see if he was drawn offside. There's Waters. He is playing hurt. Had a lot of problems. He got hurt in the Auburn game and hasn't played up to what standards he had earlier in the season.
You know, Arizona wanted to start very smoothly and let Jenkins get into the rhythm of a game. They really have not been able to do that. They haven't been able to gain anything on 1st down. They're putting Jenkins in a lot of 2nd and 3rd down and long situations.
It was offside against Georgia. Moves the ball to the 15, makes it 2nd and 3. They can't kick from here. Max Zendejas has some limits, but
well, I don't know.
He has been phenomenal. Zendejas has tried 2 field goals over 60 yards this year. They were long enough. They were just wide. Adams, McLemore in the backfield. 2nd down. Long 2. Straight ahead comes McLemore, and the ball is fumbled, and Georgia has it again. Tony Flack, number 8, the safety, comes up with it.
Well, this is really a surprise. Oh, they're ruling
it down.
Wow.
So after losing one earlier, this time they rule
Well, let's take another look here at McLemore, the fullback. A little belly play set up by some of the outside runs by the tailback. I think the ball came loose. They say the ground cannot cause a fumble, but I thought actually that ball came loose before that.
Well, as an end result, Arizona has a 1st down. They have it now at the 21, and Jenkins wants a timeout. Let's look at it again and see if we can get a little more perspective on this last play.
Pat's perspective, you mean.
Pat's perspective.
That's exactly. This play, it was a nice call. The first fullback running play that we've seen. McLemore comes through the line of scrimmage because everybody had overrun the play. See, the ball clearly came loose. That's why we call it Pat's perspective, Gary, because it did come loose before he hit the ground.
You're going to have to learn to say perspective if you're going to call it Pat's perspective. We'll be back. Arizona has a timeout. And the entire nation excited about this. Coming next from Rupp Arena, the Cardinals against the Wildcats. And then tomorrow on CBS, it's the NFC Wild Card game. The Giants, red hot right now, hosting the defending Super Bowl champion 49ers. That's a rematch, you might recall, of last year's divisional playoff. Boy, I tell you, Joe Morris has just been sensational for the Giants.
That has been the difference of the Giants. You know, Phil Simms has had so much pressure on him over the years because they haven't been able to run the ball, but this year they're running it very, very well.
Starts at 12:30 tomorrow with the NFL Today.
I hope my wife lets me watch.
Christmas is over. You've got all the gifts. From the 21 now, 1st down. Play action fake by Jenkins. He's going to run. 25, slides to the 30. He'll be a yard, maybe 2 short of the 1st down. Jenkins, he's big. He is 6'3", weighs 225 pounds. And he really took off that time. There was no hesitation on his part.
And he moves very well for a big man. You know, ordinarily don't see guys that big run that well, but he is a very good runner as well. The Georgia defense, again, concerned about his impromptu ability like we just showed there.
He was the Arizona most valuable player this year from the 30-yard line. 2nd down, a yard to go. That's Vickers in motion. Straight ahead, McLemore. McLemore's got the first down with a lot to spare. The Junkyard Dogs. Let's look defensively now at Georgia. Every year they are just rock solid. Here's Ruff, a junior. Williams, we talked about Henry Williams the second. Henry the first. Henry Harris, just outstanding. Richardson, a very enthusiastic player. And Waters this year, he had 11 sacks, was headed for a school record before he sustained an injury. From the 35, first down for the Wildcats. Now getting their first field position. 4:27 to go in the first quarter. No score. Jenkins to throw. Broken up. And incomplete, almost intercepted. Bill Mitchell was the guy that went in and batted the ball on 99. Richardson almost came up with it.
Good defensive rush there again by that Georgia front. They have been in Jenkins' face all day long. John Brantley, one of those defensive players. Bill Mitchell, who was there in Jenkins' face. Williams, number 23, one of the defensive backs. Very solid player. Gary Moss with 4 interceptions this year. Tony Flack, the only man ever to start as a freshman in his first game for Vince Dooley. And John Little, the rover, the outstanding rover for the Bulldogs.
And kind of the glamour position for Georgia.
Which is unusual. You don't think of the rover being a glamour position, but it is. Terry Hogue and now John Little.
Chuck Knox has now come in at a fullback spot for Arizona. And yes, he is the son of Chuck Knox, the coach of the Seattle Seahawks, and he goes for maybe a yard. Henry Harris is there again, and they knew he was going to be tough. 3rd and 8.
Again, Harris is one of those guys that just penetrates and gets an arm or a leg or a helmet in the way, and that's exactly what happened. That play was well set up for Knox to gain some yards, but Harris got his hand in the way.
There's the time left in the first quarter. We talked to the Georgia people. They just feel that they have a boot camp in the spring, and they're just a little tougher than everybody else.
It's an endurance test, they said, all year long.
Horton comes in motion. 3rd down and 8. Jenkins too tall and intercepted and dropped. Almost picked off by Gary Moss, the man that Pat mentioned a while ago led the team with 4 interceptions. And that may indicate again Jenkins hasn't settled down. That ball was thrown with too much velocity.
Well, Alfred Jenkins, until he gets settled down, should not throw the ball in the middle, because if you overthrow, it's going to be intercepted. The ball was tipped there, and Gary Moss almost made the interception. What he has to do, has to throw the ball outside on out patterns. The ball is way over the receiver's head. And the coaches said this is a problem for Jenkins. He has so much adrenaline pumping in the early parts of the game, they really try to start him off slowly.
Rodriguez to punt the ball. Arizona's 0 for 3 on 3rd downs thus far, and they get a break on the roll. This is going to be a superb punt.
Again, Little couldn't see that ball in the sun, Gary.
As an end result, they're going to start inside their own 10-yard line. Rodriguez with a 57-yard punt. So all of a sudden now, Arizona has field position. Down now to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. Earlier, Pat made a comment about the Arizona linebackers, the depth, that they were 6 yards deep. I spoke with George Hafner, the offensive coordinator of Georgia. He says that Arizona takes 3 steps up real quick, not respecting the pass. Even though their field position's bad, they're going to try to open up and throw the ball and make Arizona respect the pass. Gary?
Thank you, Steve. That 57-yard punt, that is an interesting adjustment. Both these coaching staffs, though, are good at making game adjustments.
And it certainly would be a surprise and uncharacteristic for Georgia to throw the ball from this part of the field.
And they start out with a pitch to Lars Tate, and the swarming Wildcats dropping just across the 7-yard line. And I mean swarming. They have 4 or 5 guys around the football.
Those linebackers from Arizona, as Steve mentioned, do play awfully deep, and it allows them to read and react very quickly. But what's unusual about those defensive linebackers is they're moving forward rather than laterally. And that's what it can take. Perhaps a play-action fake when they can come in and hit a tight end behind them would be a very good call.
Remember one thing, Georgia threw only 3 touchdown passes all year. As straight ahead comes Keith Henderson. Henderson out across the 10 to the 11-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down. So I suspect that Arizona says, hey, you were last in the SEC in passing. You threw only 3 touchdowns. Come out and show us you can do something.
They would love to force them into passing situation. This is a third and long situation that Georgia's been in this game.
And they're going to throw this time. Nope, Jackson's going to tuck it in and go. And he has a first down out to the 30 to the 31. Alan Durden, the All-American free safety, over to make the stop, a 20-yard run. That is the quickness that concerns Arizona.
Well, a 3rd and 5 situation is not the time to run a play-action fake because the defense is expecting a pass, but this is, again, the quick feet of James Jackson. The big gap there, big hole. Number 68, Kim Stevens, is there in front, giving a little gap. And great instincts and eyes by James Jackson. This is what he does best, not throw the ball, but run the option and get upfield.
He's not very big. He's 5'11", 176. Pitches back to Tate. And Tate tripped up across the 30 to the 31-yard line. A gain of close to 5. Cliff Thorpe and Chuck Cecil combine on the stop. Getting back to Jackson, the coaches are concerned that he is not bigger than he is. He does not have the big, strong legs to take the beating, but you can see what quickness he has.
Well, it's interesting. Vince Dooley says he doesn't break many tackles because he doesn't have big, real strong legs, but when you're that quick, I guess you don't have to break. You got to outrun most people. You don't have to break tackles.
You make a miss. 2nd down, a long 5. Jackson still has the ball. Arizona was frozen momentarily, but then reacted. And we have a penalty flag on the near sideline. Chris Burgett was over to make the tackle. Looks like we have a late hit coming up. That's what it is. And that really will hurt Arizona. They had him very well diagnosed. The fake really didn't produce anything, did it?
You're absolutely right, but this is what George Hafner, the offensive coordinator, was talking about, and Steve Davis mentioned a moment ago. Watch the fake here by James Jackson. A wonderful fake. The ball is on his right hip, but he didn't fool that. Look at that right there. You can't even see the ball, but he didn't fool the defensive backs there, Alan Durden and Gordon Bunch of Arizona, and Fred Lane, the wide receiver, was not open. And now you're going to get a chance to see the late hit. Jackson's out of bounds, and whap, there are 2 Arizona players. I think it was 49, Dan Lockett, who got called for the penalty.
Anyway, it's a 1st down now at the Wildcats' 49-yard line. 1:12 to go in the 1st quarter. No score. The 52nd Sun Bowl. This is Tate. And Tate may have gotten the yard, and that's all. It was George Hinkle, 97, who shares the defensive end spot over to make the stop. And looks like Tate's losing his jersey. Tate wants to come out, I think, and take that jersey off, but he's staying in. He and Henderson in the backfield. 2nd down, virtually 10. That's Fred Lane in motion. Here comes Tate again. And Tate inside the 45 to the 44. Byron Evans again on the stop. It'll come to a 3rd down.
Because Arizona's getting such good inside pressure on the Georgia offense, what Georgia's trying to do now is run a 3 wide receiver offense, Gary, and spread that Arizona defense out a little bit more.
3rd down and 4 as Worley now comes in, replacing Tate at the tailback spot. What a vista in the background. The Franklin Mountains, a sold-out Sun Bowl. 52,000 on hand today. Hockaday and Archie are split out on this 3rd down. 2 seconds. They just get it off before the end of the 1st quarter, and they go up the middle, and that fooled Arizona. Henderson carries for the 1st down to the 33. So again, expecting possibly the pass, they come right at him.
And this is one thing that Vince Dooley said about Keith Henderson, that he can really read that inside play very quickly. Good eyes by a fullback.
No score as we have come to the end of the 1st quarter. We'll return after this commercial break, and a word from your local I'll get the 4th, right?
Aptly named, I'll say that.
We do want to wish everyone a happy holiday, and I don't know of a more gorgeous day than this for football. It's just absolutely spectacular. The game is going about as figured. Good, hard-hitting defense, battle for field position. Got to figure now, Georgia would probably get, what, to the 20-25 before they would attempt a field goal?
That's exactly right. Crumley, their kicker, as we mentioned earlier, has been injured, and they feel that's the only safe area of the field where he can kick a field goal.
On a 1st down, Worley inside the 30 to the 28, Chuck Cecil. Chuck Cecil is just an outstanding football player. You're looking at number 6 out of La Mesa, California. He was a guy that ended up being a walk-on because he wasn't real sure where he wanted to go, and he made a visit to Stanford, waited too long. They ran out of scholarships, so his dad paid his 1st year, and now he's on full scholarship.
Well, he's a sophomore, and he's going to be a great, great football player in the Pac-10.
2nd down, 6, play action. Here comes Jackson. Jackson to the 25, to the 20, another 1st down. Fumble, the ball is loose. It looks like Fred Lane of Georgia has recovered at the Bulldogs' 20-yard line. Danny Lockett separated the ball, but again, I get the idea Jackson's just not going to throw that football.
Well, you're absolutely right. Again, they're trying to develop that confidence slowly of James Jackson. He does this best outside the containment, on the corner in the perimeter of the defense. He wants to throw the ball. Good coverage by the Arizona Wildcats, but this is what he does best. A nice little move there, tries to tuck the ball away. But remember, this Arizona team practices on stripping ball carriers of the ball. 41 turnovers they've created this year.
Now, there's a quarterback. He has some shifty moves. What was wrong with you when you played?
Never gave me a chance to run.
Here's a reverse. The pitch to Lane, and Lane's going to have to fall on the ball. Now, all year long, Fred Lane has been sensational on the reverse. He scored against Baylor from 33 yards out. It's been a weapon, but this time they lose 16 yards.
Well, believe it or not, Fred Lane has more carries than receptions, and he's a flanker. This is his 11th reverse of the year. The ball was just a little bit out in front of him, but actually Fred Lane should have caught that ball. He is a wide receiver. I think he took his eye off it. But they scored against Baylor on this earlier in the year, and are also going to set up a reverse pass later on in the game where Fred Lane can throw the ball.
Well, that play beat Baylor. He really did. The 33-yard touchdown run didn't work this time. Here comes Jackson trying to get some of the yardage back. He is stopped at the 31. Evans again. Evans is a junior. He's out of Phoenix, South Mountain High School. He had 118 solo tackles. That's a school record, and led the Pac-10.
Here, take a look how deep those linebackers in the left part of the screen is. They come straight forward, which is unusual for linebackers. Number 48, Byron Evans, is there to make the stop. But like we said, it's unusual that they can go right ahead and they line up deep so they can change direction very easily.
Third down, 22 yards to go. Going to set up the little screen to Tate to the 30, and Tate will be way short of the first down, 11 yards, as he gets to the 21-yard line. And Larry Smith's team now has held Alan Durden and Dana Wells over to make the stop. Now, are they close enough? I assume they are close enough for Crumbley to come in and attempt the field goal.
Yes, and it was a nice call to put them in position to do so. A nice safe pass for James Jackson, who doesn't have the strong arm to go downfield, but a screen pass was the great call. Didn't get him a first down, but got them in field goal range.
Now, you see he has a 50-yard field goal, but he has a pulled thigh. He heard it before the Georgia Tech game, and it's very suspect. This will be a 38-yard attempt. Straight on kicker, and it is good.
He is limping, though. He is limping.
Tell you what, though, that leg doesn't hurt as much after you hit one like that. 38 yards. Georgia strikes first. They lead it 3-0.
When there's full-size work to do, nothing works like
the near sideline, Pat, in agony. He was really hurting.
You're going to get a look at it right here. As you mentioned, he hurt that thigh in the Auburn game, 38 yards. He grabs the right thigh again, and then he just limped off severely in the field. This could be a very large factor because this is going to be a very close ball game. I'm not sure he can kick again, Gary.
So you see 17, Davis Jacobs, who will come in and kick off. He's kicked off before and had to kick in the Georgia Tech game because of the injury to Crumbley. 3-0 Georgia. And this kick is not very deep at all. It's going to be fielded short at the 20, and Arizona will bring it out to the 30-yard line. Looks like Chuck Knox, and it was, who very alertly came up and gave them good field position. Okay, on Tuesday, New Year's Eve day, join Steve Davis and me for the Peach Bowl. You're going to see an outstanding aerial circus. The Fighting Illini of Illinois against that wishbone of Jim Young's Cadets. That starts at 2:30, and then the 50th Cotton Bowl. Bo Jackson, the Heisman Trophy winner for Auburn, against Jackie Sherrill's A&M Aggies. Just short of the 30 at the 29 is where Jenkins will start the series. Wide open, catch is made by McLemore. He's an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield, and he has a first down catch, a 15-yard pickup.
And the right kind of pass at this point in the game for Alfred Jenkins, who's gotten off to that slow start. Deep drop by the Georgia linebackers in the middle of the screen. You can see how deep they go back. Number 18 cleared them out. And there's McLemore, who's a very good receiver out of the backfield. All of Arizona's backs are. And that's a nice, safe pass for a first down.
Ruff coming up along with Greg Williams to make the stop. McLemore came in here with 9 catches. He's been hurt a lot this year. They love to throw to him. After the 15-yard pickup, big hit is put on this time on James DeBow. 38, a freshman out of San Bernardino, as Calvin Ruff, 86, made the stop. DeBow is their inside man. Interestingly enough, Pat, they have some real diversity. They have DeBow who runs inside, Eldridge who runs outside, Adams who does a little bit of everything.
And they like to get the ball to their backs on pass receptions as well. And they wanted to run some screens today. We really have not seen Arizona throw the ball in a screen situation much, but Georgia Tech hurt the Bulldogs with screen passes, and Arizona wanted to do that some today.
Second down, 7. Vince Dooley's team with a 3-0 lead, and now Arizona's asking for their second timeout. They have one left, so Jenkins will retreat to the far side. 10:53 left to go in this first half. From the Sun Bowl, it's the Dogs leading the Cats by 3. And join Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. Talk to Steve Crumley, the freshman kicker from Georgia, on that field goal. The muscle is right here. It's very tender and very sore. When he kicked it, he extended again. He's like Pat Hayden and myself. We had to play injured. He's saying he can play and he can kick. I don't know that he can. He can hardly walk right now. Pat?
Hey, what is this? You guys played injured. Is that true?
I didn't play enough to get hurt.
Look at this view. Sold out. Couldn't get a ticket, I guess, so they're on top. And look at the magnificent vista here in the southernmost tip of the Rockies, El Paso, Texas. 10:53 to go. First half of play. Second down, 7, Arizona. They trail by 3. They have the ball at their own 47. Adams now in at the tailback. In motion is Fairholm. Jenkins setting up the screen, something we expected to see a lot of. Adams has a first down. And the water bug advances the ball to the 40-yard line. The smallest tailback in captivity. And what an outstanding effort after he got the football. 14-yard gain.
Well, this is one way to try to negate the rush of Georgia, is to throw some screen passes and run some traps and roll your quarterback out. They wanted to do this. They just nice little dump here to David Adams, who's a very good receiver, although that time he almost dropped it. Good downfield blocks by number 52, Toffenmeyer, his center, and the left guard, the Chekist. But that allowed Adams to make a nice gain for the first down. Good call.
Adams was out this year, 4 games. They sorely missed him. You can see why. First down from the 40. Play action. Jenkins has ahead of him the Chekist, the guard, throws Fairholm, and he has a catch to the 30. Appears to be a yard short of the first down, a gain of 9, and there is Fairholm. His dad, Larry, was a captain of the Arizona Wildcats in 1964.
Look at the right side of the field, number 18, Jeff Fairholm. And what makes the key here is Fairholm coming back to the ball, because this is good zone defense by the Georgia team. Look, there's 4 guys around the ball. Had Fairholm not come back to catch the ball and meet the ball, that would have been knocked down, I believe.
Flack came up to make the stop, and Flack, according to Vince Dooley, is due to have a big game. He's just really coming on his own at that spot.
You know, Vince Dooley said he thought he was going to get an interception today. Just had that feel about it.
Second down, a yard to go. And they didn't get it.
There's our man, Henry Harris.
Yes, sir.
You got to watch Henry Harris line up, Gary, because he's right near the center of the line of scrimmage, but he almost is offside. He gets that quick start with a long count. I believe you could draw him offsides.
Okay, we're going to show you again this bird's eye view. We had a little technical problem. Just sit, watch, and our guys working hard to show you some of the pageantry of college football. Third down now, too.
Oh, yes.
DeBow is coming to the game. And And here he is, and he's got the first down. The ball to the 27. Bill Mitchell and Tony Flack again make the stop. And you see, Pat, some confidence now in this Arizona offense. That's the first time they've converted a third down.
And they're very much, obviously, in Max Zendejas' range now, but it's almost been a liability something to them this year. They've gotten conservative in this area of the field, realizing that they have almost an automatic 3 points with Zendejas. They need to go for those touchdowns. Early in the year, they weren't doing that.
What a weapon. And he awaits an opportunity, but right now it's first down at the 27.
Shotgun on first down, a little unusual.
Jenkins fakes to McLemore, throws, and a nice catch is made. Fine catch. Hit instantaneously by Flack was Ryan Vickers. No, yes, that is Vickers. Vickers, the tight end. He only had 3 catches all year long, and that is a 5-yard reception. But I tell you, that ball had to be there because Flack was there.
Interesting styles of 2 different conferences, too. The Pac-10 conference, which, of course, Arizona is a member of, is wide open. They use a lot of formations. We saw the shotgun there on first down. The SEC, you don't see as much of that, but the Georgia is running some option plays, which Arizona doesn't see much.
Second down and 6. Jenkins 5 of 8 now for 52 yards. In motion comes Vickers. David Adams looking for some running room, and he'll get to the 21-yard line. It'll bring up a third down. Mitchell and Brantley again making the stop. Bill Mitchell, leading tackler this year at 138 stops. He's their best linebacker, number 56.
This is the area of the field that Georgia likes to come with an all-out blitz to try to put pressure on you, give you a negative play, and make it a little bit more difficult for Max Zendejas to kick the field goal.
3rd and 4. Fairholm and Horton split out. Fairholm to the near side. 7:19 to go in the first half. 3-0 Georgia. Jenkins has a man open. It's Horton, and he caught it. Inside the 10, first and goal, Arizona. 13 yards.
That is a very nice throw and a very nice catch, Gary. One of the soft spots in this defense is the out pattern. Here the ball is extremely well thrown by Jenkins. The foot is right there. His left foot's in. Now let's take a look at the right foot. And they can take one more look at the end of the play. So that is a well-thrown ball and a good call against this defense because the Georgia defensive backs play an inside technique and give up the out pattern.
Jenkins now has completed 5 passes in a row. First and goal from the 8. You see the time left in the first half. Vickers comes in motion again. Here's Adams, and Adams is short-circuited at about the 7-yard line area. The Junkyard Dogs led by Jake Richardson that time. You know, you saw that catch a while ago by Horton. He was dropping a lot of passes early in the year, Pat, and they felt it was because he had just had a newborn daughter, Tiffany, and lost some of his concentration. And Arizona really improved their pass catching, especially Horton later in the season.
When the baby got to be, what, 3 or 4 months old, I guess.
Got a little more sleep.
No, but their whole team dropped, I think, 30 passes early in the first 4 games, I believe. So everybody was dropping the ball.
11th play of this drive. Second and goal now from the 7. Adams again. Cuts it back to the 5. Adams to the 1. Beautiful cutback that time by the junior from Tucson. Bill Mitchell stopped him from going in. It's 3rd and goal at the 1.
Take a look at David Adams. The UCLA defensive coordinator said he had the most unbelievable change of direction of anybody's ever seen. This play was designed to go outside with good vision. Saw the play overrun, and watch his eyes. Everybody's going to overrun the ball. See number 56, Mitchell there? He overruns the ball. Adams has the vision to see it and the speed to cut it back inside to put the ball down on the 1-yard line.
3rd and goal from the 1. Chuck Knox is in. They'll use him probably as a H-back in this situation. They give straight ahead, and Adams is not going to get in. Adams at 5'6", 168, was run into by Greg Williams, a cornerback. Now what do you do? 4th and goal. Do you bring the automatic field goal in, or do you go for it?
He is going for it. He is going for it. This Georgia defense is very, very tough down here in these kinds of situations.
So you remember earlier, Georgia on a 4th and 2. They didn't get it. They were stopped at the 7, and here's a 4th down try by Arizona. Less than a yard. Adams, he's got it. There is, however, a penalty flag clear back in the end zone on the near side, completely away from the football. Let's see what it's about. The illegal procedure.
Well, that'll bring Zendejas in now. And what a critical mistake that is at that time.
They had that one sealed off. There was no one close to Adams, and here he comes, Max Zendejas. His records are absolutely sensational. He has 77 career field goals. Comes in now, 22 of 29 this year. This will be a chip shot for the senior from 22 yards out. Kick on the way, and he powers it through, and we're tied up. He gets that ball up so quickly, Pat, and you could see the strength of his leg. So Larry Smith's team had the touchdown, only to have it negated. They come back to tie it up, 4:44 to go in the first half.
It looked like nobody here was offsides, but they did call, and it was official way on the other side of the field who called illegal procedure on them, but nobody moved early by. It looked like nobody here was offsides, but they did call, and it was official way on the other side of the field who called illegal procedure on them, but nobody moved early by any stretch of the imagination. Should have been a clear touchdown there. It was well sealed off on the inside for Adams.
Well, Zendejas got the field goal, and let's go back to Steve Davis on the sideline.
Thank you, Gary. You've got to admire Larry Smith. He went into the Zendejas family and did turn down Lewis, who is the older brother of Max. Luis went on to Arizona State. Max obviously came on to Arizona. Can you imagine, though, Larry Smith having to go back into the home of the Zendejas and recruit Max? Also, there are two more Zendejas boys. Alex and Alan are juniors and seniors in high school. Let's go back to Gary and Pat.
Some pretty good genes there, I would think, don't you, Pat?
You have 3 first cousins kicking as well.
Well, I would like to know what that penalty was all about. The thing that got me about it, Pat, was the flag was clear down in the right-hand corner of the end zone, completely away from the action.
And it looked like they had 7 men on the line of scrimmage to me, too, so it didn't look like an illegal formation.
Well, we'll try to determine what was happening there as Zendejas will kick off, and there is the Sun Bowl queen. From the 40s, Zendejas, who is just superb in kicking off. Return on this one. He is absolutely sensational when it comes to kicking off.
First and 10. From their own 20-yard line.
Okay, at halftime, we're going to preview the 50th Cotton Bowl as Jackie Sherrill tells how he plans to stop Bo Jackson, and that's going to be very difficult. Then a report on the game following this one. Kentucky and Louisville will join Brent Musburger and Billy Packer. And then at halftime, they have a 70-foot replica of the Statue of Liberty they're going to show us at halftime. To the 25-yard line comes Lars Tate. 3-3 our score. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Exactly, Pat, as I think both coaches and both of us figured this game was going to go.
It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to come down to that fourth quarter. It's going to be one of the kickers or a two-point play being the difference. And right now, Arizona has the advantage because Georgia's kicker is hurt.
Here comes Tate again, getting a lot of work in this game. Tate just a little bit short of the first down as he is dropped at the 30. Galen Allen made the stop. It's Galen Allen, really. They spell it G-A-L-L-E-N, but it's Galen. He is out of the Bronx, making that last stop for Arizona.
Georgia has only completed one pass, or actually thrown one pass. They wanted to run the ball. They want to take all the pressure off of James Jackson, but they're going to have to get the ball. They can run some screen passes, some safe passes for Jackson to get him comfortable.
On a 3rd and short yardage, Jackson rolling, cutting up the field, picks up the first down for the Bulldogs.
3:45 left in the first half, Gary. Georgia has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Arizona wasted 2, really, only has 1 remaining.
So Georgia at the 31-yard line now. Jackson's carried the ball 7 times for 35 yards. He has Lane, number 4, split to the near side. McCluskey is his fullback and Tate is his tailback. And McCluskey out of Rome, Georgia, a junior. Byron Evans and Galen Allen again made the stop. There's Allen. He's big, 6'4", 240. He was the National Junior College Defensive Player of the Year out of Nassau Community College. And from the Bronx. You don't see a lot of guys from the Bronx playing out at Arizona. But they're glad to have him, and it's been a welcome addition.
Well, this time of the year, I bet you he's happy to be there.
Second down, 6. Here's Tate, punt around. See Allen underneath. You see Dana Wells, 37, also in on that play.
They should call a timeout. They have 3 remaining.
It's a 3rd and 4, and the time continues to tick away. That's what happens to you, though, Pat, when you can't throw the ball. I think it changes your perspective.
You're absolutely right. But if they can't throw it, they still can get James Jackson on the corner somehow in that run-pass situation where we've seen him break a couple of tackles and pick up some big gains.
Hockaday, Lane, and Archie now in at the wideouts. Here he's going to throw. It's caught by Lane, and Lane has a first down to the 49-yard line before Craig Vessling, 54, made the stop, an 11-yard pickup. Lane this year caught only 9 passes.
But this is what they need for James Jackson, the short, quick, safe patterns. A nice call here. Fred Lane picks up a good block by Jimmy Hockaday, his other wide receiver, and makes the best out of a short little pass, picked up the first down. Then Georgia called their first timeout.
They have 2 remaining, and from the 48-yard line now, first down. The Bulldogs tied up with Arizona. Camera, who was shooting the shot?
Rick Lassavita, the producer, probably.
Oh, all right. We really appreciate these guys. Now he's in trouble with the union. We really got him in trouble now.
Yeah, they give you trouble.
First down now from the 48. Jackson gives off to Henderson, and Henderson weaves his way across the midfield stripe just inside the 50 as it's Galen Allen again making the stop for the Wildcats. 2:03, 2 timeouts left for Georgia.
And the backup kicker for Georgia, Davis Jacobs, has kicked a 39-yard field goal this year for them, so they still have a ways to go. It's going to take a pass or a big scramble, some sort of big play to get them in field goal range.
And they are going into the wind, which could affect him. Here's Jackson rolling right, getting chases Allen, and he gets out of bounds and loses a yard on the play. Allen was over there. Vessling was also over there. It'll be 3rd down now. 9 yards to go for the Bulldogs.
You know, this Arizona defense just comes off blocks so well. It looked like Galen Allen, number 47, was going to be blocked there, and that Jackson was going to be able to make a play, but he fought off a block and ran him out of bounds.
You know, an interesting point. We talked to the Georgia coach and said, boy, what great team speed Arizona has. Arizona coaches say, that's not necessarily true. We just go hard.
Every play.
I think it's somewhere in between. Here's 3rd down and 9. Jackson on target. Beautiful throw to Troy Sadowski, the tight end. They have a first down, and now they're getting close to field goal range. A 15-yard completion. Alan Durden made the stop, and Sadowski is not getting up.
James Jackson's confidence is building, though. We've seen him run the ball a couple of times on the option and some scrambles. This ball is a line drive, a frozen rope. Sadowski, the tight end, who's not used much in Georgia's offense, so it was a good call and a nice catch, a wonderful throw by Georgia that now they're getting themselves into scoring range. Only the 9th catch for Sadowski.
But it was a 15-yarder and keeps their field goal hopes alive. First down at the 36. Well, we have this break in the action at the 136 mark. Let's go to this message now from the NCAA.
To me, nothing feels better than a good workout on the field. You know, today a lot of kids are experimenting with other ways to get their kicks, and far too many are getting involved with drugs and alcohol. In my book, that's just plain stupid. Playing with drugs and alcohol is like playing with a loaded gun. Hey, I know football isn't for everyone, but there are plenty of healthy ways to get your kicks. Please don't waste your time with drugs and alcohol. After all, you can't be a hit when you're high.
Something to think about from the NCAA.
I've had a great college career of fun, friends, and of course football. I know I'm a winner, not because of what I do on the football field, but because I made the choice to say no to drugs. Football means a lot to me. Maybe for you it's music. Whatever it is, fill up your life with positive activities. And don't let drugs get you down. You can't be a hit when you're high.
Something to think about from the NCAA.
After that 15-yard completion, Sadowski being helped off the field. Durden also hurt. Now, we talked about the 4th and 2 apparent touchdown run by Adams was wiped out. Here, evidently, was what the problem was. Clayton.
Reed Clayton, number 79, the second helmet in right there. They said he moved before the snap. We slowed it down. He moved a little bit, but I'll tell you what, that's a tough call.
Oh, boy, that is really a fine line. But what it did, it wiped out the touchdown. Then Zendejas kicked the 22-yard field goal.
That official's got good eyes because he was 15 yards away.
He was about as far away as we are. First down now, Georgia at the 36. Jackson on the option. Pitches back to Worley. And Worley will make it to the 30-yard line, and he hit hard and a little scrambling around. I think he wanted to get back to the huddle because he didn't get out of bounds. Gordon Bunch was over there.
Great support again by the Arizona defensive secondary. Bunch made the tackle, but Chuck Cecil, number 6, the strong safety, first got in Worley's way.
Durden was replaced in that last play by Eugene Hardy as he was shaken up on the tackle by Sadowski. Played only 18 snaps this year, so they lose a real veteran back there. Still not back in the lineup. Here comes Henderson, and Henderson chugs to the 26-yard line. And we're going to have a timeout now by Georgia. And Georgia will have one timeout left with a minute to go. Third down, and still about 1 yard to go. Well, we're a long ways from Athens, Georgia. Between the Hedges is where the Bulldogs play. Let's visit that beautiful campus in Athens.
The University of Georgia is America's first public institution of higher education to celebrate its bicentennial. In 1985, special events have focused attention on the university's unique heritage and helped it look ahead to a third century of service. Individual states taking responsibility for providing higher education to their citizens is an idea born in Georgia in 1785. The University of Georgia, celebrating 200 years of teaching, inquiring, and serving.
During its centennial this year, the University of Arizona scored a lot more than points. Arizona faculty discovered another solar system, uncovered an ancient city on Cyprus, and successfully implanted the first artificial heart as a bridge to life. But we also scored with Arizona's school kids. Our researchers shared their knowledge and enthusiasm for learning last summer. The University of Arizona in Tucson, making us all healthier, wealthier, and wiser.
And you got an opportunity to see one of the most beautiful campuses in the country at the University of Arizona, Tucson. Right now, it's third down, a long yard to go for Georgia. And they're not going to get it. Tron Jackson, there's a penalty flag. Tron Jackson, his first carry of the day, hit by Craig Bessling, and also Dana Wells, the penalty against Georgia. Now, that is going to really cause some problems for their efforts at a field goal. They're right now at the 30-yard line.
Great penetration about this Arizona defense. They've come up with big plays all year long. They're not big and they're not exceptionally fast, but they just do not stay blocked. Craig Bessling makes the first hit, but look, there's 3 or 4 blue jerseys around the ball.
It is holding. Now they're going to decline it. That'll bring up a fourth down. Now, as we said, Crumley is hurt. That means that Davis Jacobs would be the field goal kicker, and that's just too far out for him to try one, even though he has kicked a 39-yarder.
They're going to go for it now.
Fourth down. And 4 yards to go with 43 seconds.
You'd like to get Jackson in the corner of the defense.
He almost fumbled the ball, and as an end result, he did not make it. The timing was not good. Look at Evans. Myron Evans and Alan Durden, who came back in after being shaken up earlier.
Georgia ran the ball to the short side there, Gary, and they felt they could run option plays on Arizona because in the Pac-10 you don't see much option. But here, great penetration in the short side of the field. Look, there's no real surge by the offensive line. 3 or 4, again, 5 jerseys around the ball. That's short of the first down.
We've had 3 fourth downs in this first half, and all of them have not ended up working. One of them should have worked, but they had the illegal procedure.
And like I said, Georgia has been so good this year on fourth down conversions.
Well, let's see what Jenkins can do now with 33 seconds left. He pitches out to DeBow, and DeBow will get to the 29, and that's all. Henry Harris is there. Well, I'm really looking forward to this halftime. We'll look ahead to the Louisville, Kentucky game. Also, Jackie Sherrill will talk about the 12th man and somehow defending Bo Jackson. What's the 12th man? That's all the student body, right?
They may need 13 to stop Bo Jackson.
They come off as walk-ons and they try out and they get to play on the special teams. Very interesting tradition there. And then the Statue of Liberty halftime show. And we have come to the end of the first half. It's dead even at 3. The Dogs and the Cats battling in the sun here. And right now, as you can obviously see, no one has the advantage. Bringing you Louisville against Kentucky. The site, Rupp Arena in Lexington, the site of last year's Final Four. Sun Bowl, and you know what? Steve Davis gets all the good assignments. You're going to see why. Let's go to Steve.
Thank you, Gary. I do have one of the toughest assignments in college football. This is the 1985 Miss USA, Laura Martinez Herring. Laura, what do you do as a Miss USA?
Well, I'm sponsored by several different companies, and I make appearances, sign autographs, attend wonderful football games, wave, take pictures, a lot of different things. A lot of charity work is involved as well.
Now, you've got to be a very proud resident of El Paso, Texas, in the Sun Bowl.
Oh, yes, I sure am. I'm so happy to be here today. I really am. It's wonderful. Beautiful weather. The people are so friendly, and it's a very exciting game.
Laura, we're glad you're here.
Thanks.
We're going to take a little look at El Paso, Texas, the international experience, one of the lovely cities of the Southwest.
Georgia had the ball 39 plays. Total yardage, the Bulldogs had the better of it.
The one surprise to me, Gary, is the turnovers. Arizona has one. Georgia doesn't have any. Remember, Arizona's defense created 41 turnovers this year. They're averaging a +2 a game, really.
Well, let me tell you, Arizona 8 times this year trailed early. So they have been in that position, and they trailed in this game 3-0, only to tie it up. So they are a fourth quarter club. The only problem is, so is Georgia.
They certainly are, and we've talked with the Georgia coaches this week about this. They go through their whole year playing. It's kind of an endurance test, preparing the mental edge in that fourth quarter. And like I said, they don't want to win. They just expect to win when it comes down to the fourth quarter.
So the team's coming back onto the field. We understand that BYU is beating Ohio State. There it is, 7-3, and Keith Byers has been hurt again. Boy, it's been a tough year for Keith. So we'll be back. The second half kickoff here in El Paso.
Movies, you?
It's great to see them, though. They don't get on camera very often, but and maybe never again, right?
Yeah, that's right. They deserve not to be on camera.
Pat, you found out an interesting story at halftime. You went over to the Georgia coaches box.
Well, I talked with both coaches, but the Georgia team has lost both their tight ends. Troy Sadowski broke his rib, and Wycliffe Lovelace has a separated shoulder. Believe it or not, they said they're still going to try to play some, but they're going to go with 3 wide receivers. Arizona coaches, they told me that they want to throw some more screen passes. They had that one success with David Adams on the screen pass. They want to throw more of those. I think they can be very successful in the second half.
This is the kicker now, Davis Jacobs, who replaces Crumley, who re-injured that thigh. And he'll be kicking off to Eldridge along with Jeff Fairholm as Arizona will receive as we start the second half. 3-3, Zendejas with a 22-yard field goal, Crumley with a 38-yarder. Two excellent defensive teams. Jacobs again not kicking it very deep. Fairholm to the 15, 20, 25, and good field position for the Wildcats at the 30-yard line. Special guest on the sideline with Steve Davis. Let's join him.
Thank you, Gary. Larry Smith's a special coach for Arizona. The fact that he's got 4 NFL coaches' sons, or at least people that are related to the program in the NFL. This is probably the most illustrious of those. Chuck Knox of the Seattle Seahawks. Chuck, are you enjoying watching your son for the first time?
Steve, it's really exciting to get an opportunity to see him play and see him contribute to a fine Arizona football team.
Now, this is the first time you've seen your son play college football.
This is the first time. That's correct.
Is it hard on you as a dad?
Yes, it's hard, you know, when he's playing, because you like him to have a feeling of good about himself, that he's contributing something to their program. And I think it's nice when the parents can be there to give them that moral support that they need.
Does he call you for suggestions if things aren't going well?
No, he usually calls his mother. She's a coach in our house.
Hey, the AFC West was a tough league this year.
I tell you, it's really a tough division, and we didn't get it done the way we'd like to have gotten it done. The Raiders are in there, and they're representing our division in the playoffs.
You'll be back. Let's go back to Gary and Pat. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Don't forget the NFAC wildcard game tomorrow here on CBS. 49ers and Giants squaring off against each other. Adams on that last carry picked up 2. It's now 2nd and 8. Up the middle and almost on the deflection. A catch was made by Fairholm, number 18. Brantley got a hand on the ball, and they almost came up with the deflected pass for the completion. You played for Chuck Knox, didn't you?
A very good coach. But here you're going to get a chance to see Alfred Jenkins throw the ball down the middle. And they're tough to throw. Georgia's very tough to throw down the middle because the linebackers drop so deep. There the ball is tipped. But then watch the hit that Alfred Jenkins gets, because he has been under heat all day long. Jeff Richardson right there hits him after the ball. That's how you lose a knee, actually, folks. He seems to be all right.
They come to a 3rd down, 3rd and 8. Arizona's 2 of 6 on 3rd down conversions thus far. Jenkins in trouble. Gets a block from the Checkers. Adams has got it. 45, 50, and he'll be dropped there. 1st down, Arizona. Tony Flatt caught him, and that was a fine throw, a completion of 17 yards.
But the key there was, Gary, the block that you mentioned by the Checkers, number 50, who swung around after Jenkins and got to the outside and blocked Henry Harris. Now watch 52, who's putting pressure. Number 52 has been in the backfield all afternoon. He's shaking Jenkins, but Checkers, number 52, gives Jenkins a time to pull up and make a nice throw to David Adams. This is what we expected Arizona to do more of, is actually throw the ball to the backs underneath the coverage of those linebackers of Georgia who dropped so deep.
Adams with the catch. Jenkins 7 of 11 for 83 yards. Webb is in the backfield now with David Adams. Charles Webb, who started earlier in the year at fullback. This is Adams. Flag on the play as he makes it just about to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. It was Harris again. Henry Harris and Gary Moss combining on the stop. It's illegal procedure against Arizona.
Okay, it's going to take a penalty here or a big defensive play by Georgia. This part of the field keeps Zendejas at a field goal range. He has a little bit of wind with him in the 3rd quarter as well.
It just changes your whole complexion, whether you're defensively on that side of the ball or offensively. I think offensively, you sometimes fall back and rely on him too much.
Well, we saw that happen to UCLA last year with John Lee, but remember the Georgia coaches, too, said they do not like to blitz much this year, but this is part of the field where they're going to.
Well, they blitzed, and all 8 touchdown passes have come on blitzes against them. They refused the penalty, so it's 2nd down and 10. Georgia electing to take the down rather than the distance. Jenkins with time, and incomplete to DeBow. DeBow trying to make the catch. Looks like Jenkins that time really couldn't see him very well. He had people up in his face that time. DeBow this year caught 15 passes. He's an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield.
Watch the stunt in the middle of your screen there. Number 52 over the nose. Again, Henry Harris. This is a stunt they felt they could confuse this Arizona defense because they block man-to-man. Most lines, offensive lines in the college football, zone block. But Arizona blocks man-to-man. They felt by running some stunts they could confuse the line blocking. They didn't there, though.
3rd down, 10 for Arizona. Just underway in the 2nd half. It's 3 apiece. Low snap. Jenkins is able to come up with it. He's got some running room. He's to the 40, dives for the 1st down. An 11-yard pickup. Jenkins very alertly saw the field really clear out for him, and he took advantage of it.
You're going to see number 20, Chris McLemore, the fullback on the right-hand side of the screen when Jenkins decides to scramble, pick up a nice block. A very alert play by McLemore. He comes in and screens that defender off, and that allowed Jenkins to make the first down.
Jenkins has been very effective scrambling. 3 carries, 25 yards.
Well, I'm impressed with such a big guy. He runs very well.
Well, you wouldn't know how those big guys run.
That's true. I was a little guy who could run well.
From the 39, first down. Fairholm comes in motion. Jenkins over the middle, complete to Fairholm. And Fairholm is just short of the first down. He's at the 30. Brantley and Little combining on the stop. And Fairholm, who played high school football in Canada, has come south and has really been a factor on this football team.
So he got hit there in the hip as well, boy, in the back.
And so with 12:03 to go in this third quarter, the 52nd Sun Bowl, we have a 3-3 score. 2 excellent defensive teams, Georgia against Arizona. Arizona has a second down and less than a yard to go, just short of the 30. That's Vickers in motion, and a whistle will stop everything.
Too much time.
Too much time. The 25-second clock expired.
Now, it was a second and short. They were going for it all there. They had a look like a run with a 2 tight end situation, but they were going to fake and try to get the ball deep to John Horton, but they couldn't get the ball off in time.
Well, Arizona was able to overcome that 1 penalty. Let's see if they can do it again. They had 4 penalties for 30 yards. Georgia 1 for 5. And isn't that typical of Vince Dooley's teams? They just don't commit the errors. They do not have the penalties assessed against them.
Well, they go from a second and short situation, which would have been a guaranteed first down situation. Now they're in 2nd and 5. It's going to be much more difficult.
2nd and almost 6, actually. Horton, and now Kip Lewis, number 40, has come in. We saw Fairholm a while ago take himself out of the ball game. Here comes, check that, that is Fairholm back in there. And here's again straight ahead to DeVoe, another penalty flag. And some pushing going on. Some pushing going on between Bill Mitchell and Chris McLemore in the secondary, and they're still discussing it. Well, let's see what the penalty's all about. The dean of the Southeastern Conference coaches played at Auburn. Holding.
You know, we look at Vince Dooley, Gary. I think in college football and all of football, it's so important to have stability in that head coaching position. You look at, you know, Nebraska with Tom Osborne and Joe Paterno and Barry Switzer, those programs that really win, and Vince Dooley at Georgia. That's what it takes, I believe. Parents want their sons going to universities where they know it's stable and a man's going to be there for the 4 years.
The coaches will tell you, though, it has not been as pleasant working with Vince Dooley because they've lost their last 2 games, and he just doesn't like to lose. That's quite obvious, but they work hard, and he says it's been tense. So the penalty now will make it 2nd and 16. They've lost a yard on that last carry. Jenkins with time. And dropped. That was DeVoe, who we mentioned they like to have coming out of the backfield to catch the football. That time could not hang on. So they have a 3rd and 16. Boy, see the encouragement from Jenkins? That impresses me.
That is important. That shows some leadership. A quarterback needs to do that because that is 2 balls that DeVoe has not been able to hang on to.
Jenkins last year led the Pac-10 in passing. He averaged over 200 yards a game. Down considerably this year, about 500 yards less, but they're more balanced offensively. They were 2nd and 1, now 3rd and 16. And Fairholm will be 4 yards short of the first down. And you know what that means. Here he comes, Zendejas.
Georgia forces you to throw the ball underneath the coverage because they do get back very, very deep. The 3-man defensive backs, they refuse to give up the long ball. But Jeff Fairholm, for the 2nd time now, has caught the little hook pattern underneath the coverage. Didn't pick up the first down, but gave Zendejas a little better chance.
This will be a 52-yard field goal attempt. His longest this year, 57. And that kick is good.
Gary, that is his 15th kick in his career of 50 yards or better. He's working off a 1-inch tee today, which is a little bit different for college football players.
He is 15 of 21 outside the 50. 6-3 Arizona. on the strength of a 52-yard field goal. The record here in the Sun Bowl is 62 yards by Tony Franklin. Texas A&M played Florida that year in 1977. I'll tell you what, Zendejas gets a crack at it. Tony better look out. That record could come hurtling down. But Zendejas, we told you at the top of the show, he is their weapon. And thus far, he's 2 of 2, a 22-yarder, and now a 52-yarder.
How often do you see a kicker, the captain of the team? Zendejas is the captain of the Wildcats.
79 career field goals. And watch this kickoff. I mean, there's just no way. You're never going to return one.
Almost good.
That one went into Juarez. And at the 20-yard line, Georgia will have it. Coming up next, the Battle of the Bluegrass State. Eddie Sutton's Kentucky Wildcats, 7-1 against Louisville. Denny Crum's team won 6 of their first 8. That's really some heated battle. And then coming up tomorrow, the NFC wildcard game, the 49ers, who seemingly have got it all together again against the Giants, led by Joe Morris, who's been nothing short of sensational. First down now for the 20. Here's Jackson on the roll, and he gets close to 5 yards. Byron Evans over there to make sure he doesn't go any farther.
In talking to the Georgia coaches at halftime when they came up here to the press box, one of the adjustments they wanted to make was to get James Jackson on the corner of the defense. They didn't do it as much as I felt they should have in the first half, but he can get out there and make those impromptu plays like he did a couple of times in the first half.
Get the feeling, though, they're going to have to throw something.
Sooner or later, and you can throw screen passes or short passes to give them a chance.
Second down and 6. Tate off the right-hand side, and Tate was hit by Jim Birmingham, number 59. Birmingham, as we mentioned, was hurt in practice the 1st of October, getting ready for the SMU game. He was a leading tackler for the Wildcats prior to the injury. He had been playing at a defensive end spot, moved him to nose guard, and he's played very well today. Birmingham out of Tustin, California.
It's been a very good matchup between him and Peter Anderson, the All-American center from Georgia.
Hockaday and Lane split to the right-hand side. Third down, 2. Jackson on the option. Nice head feint that time, and that got him the first down.
Very nice move. Again, the option play on third down, the outside.
Brentwood over there, make the stop. And so Jackson now putting the offense together, and it's mainly his running ability. First down, out to the 32-yard line.
Interesting statistic. Georgia is really only averaging 2 yards on a first down, which is very unusual for them. It's really for them to get in touchdown range and where they can score touchdowns. They're going to have to gain 4 and 5 yards on first down.
Well, George Hafner told us that was one of the big keys to the game for them, is get that yardage on first down. Here is Tate on a little swing pass, and Tate does a very good job bringing the ball out to the 40-yard line. He'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. Gordon Bunch comes over to make the stop. Gordon Bunch, in the estimation of Mo Ankeny, the defensive coordinator, is the smartest football player he's ever coached. There he is, number 15.
That was the first time that Georgia has thrown on first down today.
From the 40. Second down, 3 yards to go now for the Bulldogs. McCluskey and Tate in the backfield. Lane in motion. Tate very close. Very close to the first down as he's out to the 42 as Birmingham again making the stop for the U of A. And they're going to have to measure to see if he got the first down. You talk about depth in the running back department for Georgia. Here is Tate playing a strong game. They got Worley they can come back with. Keith Henderson, McCluskey alternating at the fullback spot, and all of them are back next year.
They're going to have a very good football team next year, as you just mentioned. And this year they were 7-3-1. The game against Vanderbilt, of course, they tripped up on that one, as Arizona had a surprise loss to Stanford this year. But they play in that tough SEC conference. They played 5 bowl teams, I think, this year. It's tough to win that conference.
They lost to Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia Tech, and lost their last 2.
A big win over Florida, though.
Whoa, big one. They were ranked number 1 at the time, ended the Gators' 18-game winning streak. Comes Tate, penalty flag. Craig Vesling really pounded in there. Vesling, the senior out of Tucson. Let's see what this is all about. Illegal use of the hands against Georgia. We got this break. Let's go back down to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. One of the positives for Arizona coming off probation is the fact that they will strengthen their ability to recruit in Southern California and California as a whole. Alfred Jenkins is a California prospect, as certainly Max Zendejas and others. 22 of the 44 top players of Arizona are California boys. They've also increased their number of coaches that recruit California. 7 of the 9 regular coaches on Larry Smith's staff recruit California. So the stronghold that Larry Smith wants in California is going to be strengthened. Let's go back to Gary and Pat.
Thank you, Steve. Arizona refused the penalty, so it brings up 2nd down 10. We're going to have a reverse here to Lane, and that didn't fool number 99, storming through Mata Ailey, who is from Hawaii, a 280-pound surfer. And look at this celebration.
Well, I talked with the Arizona coaches, and they said they were concerned about the reverse because the first half, when Georgia fumbled on the reverse, it was wide open. They made an adjustment. They said they were going to stay at home, and Stan Matea Ailey does exactly that. He was well coached. They made this adjustment at halftime, and there was no place for Fred Lane to go.
They have tried 2 reverses, and they've lost a total of 28 yards.
Good adjustment by the Arizona defensive coaching staff.
Well, they didn't fool them at all. 3rd down 22, and now McCluskey tries to get some of it back, and he is shoved back. That's Brent Wood again. Brent Wood has again shown that you don't have to be a monster to play in this game. They call him a torpedo. Here it comes to McCluskey, the rugged fullback, and here comes 35, Brent Wood, who's 5'10", 211 pounds, and he just stuffed him right there. 4th down.
Arizona has blocked 5 kicks this year, 3 punts and 2 field goal attempts.
Carpenter, who averaged this year 41.7, a big rush, and they almost got him.
They tipped it. They tipped the ball.
Yes, they did. There are at least 4 men in his face. The Cardinal red and blue. Chuck Cecil looked like he was the closest to it. That will end up being a 20-yard punt. And so they knew they could come after him, and they almost pulled off the block. 6-3 Arizona. Look at that partially tipped punt a moment ago, Pat.
Well, again, watch the right of the screen, number 6. Chuck Cecil comes from the outside on the right side, and he can tip the ball. Now, Arizona has done this so well this year. 5 times they've blocked kicked, as we mentioned, 18 in the last 4 years. He slips right into the gap. It's a low snap. Actually, Carpenter does a nice job of actually getting the ball off at all, but it was tipped and resulted in a very short punt.
I don't know how they missed blocking it.
Yeah, completely. They should have smothered it, actually.
And that is a remarkable statistic. They had 5 blocks this year. What they have? They had 2 and 3.
That's right, 2 kicks and 3 punts. The amazing thing is, too, over those last 4 seasons, they've tackled a punter 5 times before he's ever gotten the ball off.
And coming into this game, you got to remember Carpenter never had 1 block.
So that was a bad snap. A good play by Carpenter, actually, just to get it off.
Arizona inherits the ball at their own 47-yard line. 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, 6-3 the Wildcats. Vickers comes in motion. Jenkins gives off to Chuck Knox, and there's no place to go. Now, what you got to think about on this drive right now, Pat, this is the best field position Arizona started to drive. As you get to the 40, you can bring in Zendejas.
And really, Georgia has not mounted a touchdown threat yet today, so the field goals, obviously, you just keep chipping away, and you put yourselves out of reach. Also, this is Arizona's best field position to start a drive all afternoon after the tipped punt.
They're about 12 yards away from getting to Max's range. Of course, I don't think there's any limit to his range. 2nd down and 9. DeBow, McLemore in the backfield. Play action fake by Jenkins. Jenkins is going down to Horton and overthrew him. Double coverage that time, just nobody open, and Jenkins dumped. Horton has been their big play man, the deep threat all year long, and after that miss, Jenkins is now 9 of 16. Horton is also from the Tucson area. He was a high school teammate of David Adams. Ohio State has taken the lead, despite the fact Keith Byers will not play the remainder of the game. 3rd down, 9. Joe Pryor now is coming at fullback, number 32. The blitz, and it's caught over the middle. Fine catch that time, out to the 45-yard line. They're going to be 2 yards short of the first down. Melvin Smith. Smith, the freshman out of Carson, California, with his 6th catch of the year.
Pressure right up the middle from Bill Mitchell. Unblocked, very quick linebacker, and Jenkins does a nice job of avoiding the sack and giving Zendejas potentially a chance to kick the field goal. Actually, they're going to punt the ball now, which is a good strategy here by Arizona because they're going to back Georgia up. Georgia's offense really has not been impressive yet today, and Arizona's defense really has manhandled them.
It would be a 62-yard attempt if he had tried it from here. He just really needs another 5 yards. Get to the 40. That's what we initially said.
But this is good strategy, I believe, backing Georgia up because their offense really hasn't done much. It's going to force perhaps Georgia to punt the ball back to Arizona.
They're going to take a delay of game here to give their punter more room to try to kill this one, at least inside the 10-yard line. Their punter being Ruben Rodriguez.
Sure, Georgia can decline a penalty here as well. But Rodriguez, as you mentioned, actually puts the ball up very, very high. He won't kick the ball into the end zone. He's only done that once this entire year.
Offense, 4th down.
And watch the coverage team of Arizona, which is so good. They'll get down underneath the punt and keep it from going into the end zone, potentially making Georgia go a long way for the score.
John Little will go back to try to return this punt. There's Rodriguez's average. He's an excellent athlete. He actually played some quarterback in the spring. Taking his time, and he hit it a mile high. Little calling for the fair catch, and at the 15, so pretty effective weapon that time. 34-yard punt, but more importantly, it was strategically placed that time by Arizona. Tomorrow, the NFC wild card game. The 49ers, Bill Walsh, his team struggled early, but they're starting to really come on. Jerry Rice has just been outstanding, the rookie. And the Giants, of course, under Bill Parcells has had a good year. That's 12:30 Eastern. And then we continue on to New Year's Eve day. Steve Davis and I will be in the Peach Bowl for the Army-Illinois game, 2:30 Eastern time. Here's Jackson on a first down in trouble. Second sack of the game. Mata Ailey was back there, and they're going to mark it at the 9. Can you believe he serves at 280 pounds, a 7-yard loss on the play?
Plays the piano, too. I'll tell you, tough on the piano as well.
A rugby player. He's done it all. He was a transfer, a good-looking guy on top of that, from Sacramento City College, but from Oahu, Hawaii. And those guys over there are strong. What are you laughing?
Where's he from?
Second and 17. Jackson from his end zone, intercepted. It is picked off. Martin Rudolph to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Rudolph, touchdown. Attempt coming up, and he splits the uprights, and it's a 10-point lead now for the Wildcats, 13-3.
One of the reasons James Jackson has not had much confidence this year is because he's been put in too many situations like this, backed up in his end zone, in a long situation where he has to do it all. The default is not really his forte. It was under the ball, it was underthrown because he was under some duress. Martin Rudolph, number 27. This is his second interception of the year. Now, this Arizona defense has scored 4 or 5 touchdowns this year, Gary. They've been phenomenal.
They have produced the turnovers, 41 of them coming into this game.
And the pressure on the quarterback by Lee Brunelli, number 73, the nose guard, didn't allow Jackson to really get into the ball, and that's why the ball was underthrown. People don't realize that, but Brunelli made the underthrow and the interception there.
So Georgia, their first turnover, the first interception of James Jackson. And Brunelli, who has a hearing deficiency, comes pounding through to hit Jackson, and Rudolph with his second interception of the season. It's a 10-point lead for the Cats. The 37-yard interception return, his second touchdown of the year, actually. He scored a touchdown on a block punt against Oregon State. And with that interception now has really put Georgia in a hole. And the question I have, Pat, do you think Georgia would change quarterbacks?
Well, they talked about Wayne Johnson yesterday to us as a change of pace, but they really have none. They don't have that much confidence in him either. He only completed 40% of his passes. Neither one of Jackson or Johnson are known as throwers, and this is not Georgia's type of game. 13-3, really.
There is Wayne Johnson. He's big. He's 6'4", weighs 203 pounds. By the way, we've just been told we have a record attendance for this game. 52,203, and what a beautiful day to come out to see a football game. The old record was 1984, and that was last year's game, Maryland, Tennessee. Just fun to be here, isn't it?
Nice job these some cool people do.
Linde Haas and Mr. Automatic just hurtled through the uprights, didn't it? Boy, what a weapon. The thing that's happened is Zendejas, he had the misfortune of playing in the Pac-10 with John Lee. And Lee's got most of the publicity this year, the consensus All-American. He's had to settle for less publicity. Coming up next, Eddie Sutton's Wildcats, Kentucky, against Denny Crum's Louisville Cardinals. That's from Rupp Arena in Lexington. From the 20-yard line, first down, Georgia now. A catch-up posture, and this is not what they wanted. They have not been a good catch-up team. Straight ahead comes Tim Worley. Worley pounding out to the 28-yard line. Alan Durden and Gordon Bunce. Fine on the stop.
Excuse me, Gary, but if Georgia can just get something on the board, even if it's another field goal, go into that fourth quarter, just staying relatively close, then they're going to have to rely on that defense or their special teams to come up with that big play. We saw them in the first game of the season block that punt against Alabama. They need something like that to get a touchdown on the board.
Inside 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Out of there comes Henderson, and that's the makings of an offense as Henderson almost broke that one for a big yardage, an 11-yard pickup to the 39.
Georgia's got more production out of their fullback position than any time I can ever remember. They really are a five-back team. But watch Henderson as he cuts back. Vince Dooley says he reads the play so well. That play was supposed to go to his right, but he read everybody overrunning the play, cut back, and picked up a nice game.
Vince Dooley said he has such awareness out there.
Good vision.
First down at the 39 and penalty flags as jumping over was Arizona. Looked like Kim Stevens might have moved. Let's see. Looked like the right offensive guard for Georgia. Well, while they step it up, let's go down to our sideline correspondent, Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. Got Martin Rudolph on the sidelines. Martin, you said you were a high school receiver. You just felt like that, just act like you were in high school.
Yes, sir. I got a couple good blocks. Alan Durden and Big Stan blocked good for me. And Dana Wells blocked pretty good. Got a lot of good blocks from everybody on the defense. It's like running the ball again.
Good. Let's go back to Gary.
Thank you, Steve. First down now, 15, and nothing doing on that play. Byron Evans made sure of that. Look at him. He is absolutely full tilt every play. You can see why he was their most valuable player defensively, an all Pac-10 performer. You know what's interesting? The last 4 years, Arizona has led the Pac-10 in tackling, and it's been the Hundley brothers. Ricky for 2 years, Lamont last year, and then, of course, this year was Byron Evans.
Well, again, that position is designed to make most of their tackles. He doesn't get blocked very often because they have all the offensive linemen in front of him covered.
On a 2nd and 12, Jackson scrambles out of the pocket, taking off, and his quickness gets him to the 45-yard line. Run out of bounds by Galen Allen. It'll be 3rd down 4 now for Georgia. Still a lot of time in this game, but you still have the feeling they've got to be able to put some passing together.
Well, we've seen also Georgia in a lot of these 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7 type of situations, and really their history has been as a 3rd and 2 type of team where they can convert so many of those types of situations and keep drives alive.
Mike Swanson, our statistician, pointed out 47 rushing plays, 5 passing for Georgia thus far. This one's not going anywhere. What a hit. That's Cecil. Also coming up was Allen. And Jackson only weighs 176 pounds.
This Arizona defense has been penetrating and disrupting the rhythm of this offensive team from Georgia all day long. Now, the option play should be a very rhythmic type of play, but there's just nowhere for James Jackson to go. The defense had completely taken away from the pitch man, and then 3-man hit Jackson. He took away the pitch, too. Amazing defense.
So the drive comes to a halt. 4th down, 4 yards to go. They did fake a punt once this year, and Carpenter's in trouble. They're faking it again. Complete to Henderson, and Henderson has a 1st down at the 48. 10-yard pickup.
Well done, Gary. You just called exactly what happened, and this is what they need. They need some sort of lift. Their offense is not doing it. Chris Carpenter is quite an athlete. You mentioned that earlier, too. And Henderson fools the Arizona defense. When you're trying to block as many punts as Arizona is, this kind of play can work against you.
Well, Carpenter threw that ball very effectively, didn't he?
Yeah, he showed a nice little rhythm. They put him in a quarterback. It was a nice call there by the Georgia coaching staff.
That's the first time today anyone's converted a 4th down. And here is Tate, and that has fired up this Georgia team. Quite obviously, he went hurtling through the air, close to the 40-yard line. You see the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. Lars Tate out of North Central High School in Indianapolis. He had 2 90-plus yard days and 120 yards against Georgia Tech. 2nd down 4 from the 40. Herman Archer has come in. Archie, I should say, a wide receiver. And look at Tate. That'll be a 1st down. Tate ends the 3rd quarter with a 1st down run inside the 30. A 10-yard pickup. Tate was 63 yards now. And the 4 fingers indicate it's my quarter. But I'll tell you something, the guys from the other side of the field, Arizona feels the same way. 13-3, Arizona leads Georgia. Will return after this commercial break. And a word.
The 52nd Sun Bowl is sponsored by AT&T. In long-distance services, information systems, telephones, and computers, AT&T is the right choice. And by U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Pat, you sense Georgia has a fire in their eyes now after that fake punt that worked. They are coming right at Arizona.
Well, the offensive line has really come off the line of scrimmage. On this last play of the 3rd quarter, watch the center, Peter Anderson, as he comes off and dominates the nose guard here. And then you're going to see a great block by the fullback right here. That's David McCluskey, who's going to block the linebacker, and that clears the way for the big play by the tailback. That's great blocking there by the Georgia front, and they're showing a new sense of determination here as the 4th quarter begins.
Interesting, though, when you do something unordinary, out of the ordinary, like a fake punt, that fires the team up.
Well, it's still very much an emotional type of game, football is, particularly college football.
This is the 9th play of this drive that started from the 20-yard line, and Tate again. Tate running with a lot of authority right now. He is to the 25-yard line, a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Evans and Wood, the inside linebackers, making the stop. Lars Tate. And so at the 25 now, Georgia, I would assume, within field goal range for Davis Jacobs. But they're thinking otherwise right now. 2nd down, 6. Jackson pitching back, and now the loss as Tate is dropped at the 30. That's Cecil. Just remember this man, Chuck Cecil. He's a sophomore. He's going to be an outstanding player.
The amazing thing about this Arizona defense to me is that they seem to be able to take away the inside and still defend the option play very well. They forced James Jackson to pitch the ball early here when he really should not have, because the pitch man was covered, and that was Chuck Cecil, number 6, who made him pitch the ball early.
Larry Smith said Cecil's a dynamite player, and I believe it. 3rd down, 10. And straight ahead, great second effort, but not going to be enough by David Henderson, or should say Keith Henderson. And his forward progress will be at the 23-yard line. And they're going to try the field goal. And Crumley's coming on, Pat.
Coming on.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
Now, if you've joined us late, Crumley kicked a field goal back in the 2nd quarter. A 38-yarder, but was in great pain after he kicked it. This will be a 40-yarder. And I'm just surprised he's out there.
Well, you know, also notice he's a straight-on kicker. I would think that would probably be better, because when you have that kind of muscle and groin pull, if you're a sidewinder, it would hurt more.
Well, Crumley, who's hit 13 of them this year, and a penalty, and Georgia's pointing in the direction of Arizona as though they are the guilty side.
Arizona's so anxious to block kicks.
Well, Crumley has not kicked since he tried that field goal. They turned the kicking duties over to Davis Jacobs. Legal procedure. Oh, boy, that changes their play. You think they'll still try it now? It'll be a 45-yarder.
Well, they're bringing in the other kicker, Jacobs, right now.
That's what they're doing. They're changing kickers because of Crumley's injury. Davis Jacobs will come in. Now, this would be his longest field goal of the year. We mentioned earlier he had a 39-yarder and a 22-yarder, and this one will be a 45-yard attempt. He's a sidewinder. from 45 yards away. And he comes through.
My goodness. That is a great play by Davis Jacobs, who hasn't had an opportunity. How often you see a second-team kicker come in and kick a 40-yard field goal in the Sun Bowl or a bowl game? But he knew it all the way, a very confident man. This is what you like to see in kickers. A guy who come on, hey, there it is. That's 3 more points. No big deal, just another field goal in the Sun Bowl.
You know, it's tough. He wasn't warming up. It was Crumley that looked like he was going to have to do it. Let's go down now to Steve Davis. Like he was going to have to do it. Let's go down now to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. Chuck Cecil's really playing a fine game for Arizona, the strong safety. When he was recruited by Arizona, he decided he wanted to make a little trip up to Stanford and see what Stanford had to offer. Well, Larry Smith said, if you go, we might not have the scholarship available. He chose to go on to Stanford to visit, came back, called Larry Smith. He says, I want to come to Arizona. Larry Smith says, scholarship is gone. Said the scholarship is not available right now. So he had to walk on his first year at Arizona University. Then he earned a scholarship, and now he's playing in the 52nd Annual Sun Bowl.
All right, Steve, and I got a feeling he might be playing in some more bowl games before his career is over. The sophomore from Helix High School. He and Alan Durden went to the same high school in the San Diego area, and now the two safeties. 13-6. This man added 3 points to the Georgia total. And in the end zone is Elridge, and he comes out. That may have been a fatal mistake. He did not know what he wanted to do. Back there with him, his counterpart or his teammate said, don't come out. He avoided it, came running out, and he is stopped at the 17-yard line. Elbridge, a freshman. Coming up next, at the conclusion.
First down for Arizona.
13-6. Arizona with the lead. Low snap. Jenkins is able to field it. Comes running up the field and gets to about the 18. A pickup of 1. Henry Williams, 90, reacting very well. That's a couple of times Jenkins has had to go down to his knees to come up with the ball.
Well, the second time they've run that play on first down from the shotgun formation. The first time they hit Ryan Vickers, the tight end. He was open there again, but Jenkins tried to run up inside.
Isn't it interesting? Both teams claiming that they are the best fourth quarter club, and here's where we stand now. 12.5 minutes to go. Thus far, Georgia's gotten 3 points in this fourth quarter. Howell in motion. Give to DeVoe. And DeVoe, their tough inside runner. And evidently the ball is loose, and Georgia has recovered.
How about this? How about them dogs?
Black has come up with a fumble by DeVoe. The All-Southeast Conference safety. And now the Bulldogs in excellent position at the 22-yard line.
You know, they won the Florida game in 1983 in the fourth quarter. I saw them in the Cotton Bowl that same year where they beat Texas in the fourth quarter. This year they held on against Clemson in the fourth quarter to win. Here DeVoe comes through the line of scrimmage, gets a couple of good hits. It was the extra effort by some of his teammates. It looked like Little, number 19, really stripped the ball, and there's a host of Bulldogs there to make the recovery.
Looked like a pinball, didn't it?
Yeah.
First down now from the 22. Straight ahead, Henderson. Henderson may have reached the 20, which would be a 2-yard pickup on the play. Brings up second down and 8. They say that Vince Dooley runs one of the toughest training camps you'll ever have. He works hard. He'll stay on a goal line defense for an hour if it doesn't work right. He wants to have mental toughness, and right now his team in the fourth quarter scored 3, and they're looking for more. Second and 9. Worley. Nothing fancy here. Straight ahead. And his forward progress to the 17. Dana Wells made the stop.
But isn't it interesting in this fourth quarter, though, the Georgia offensive line, Dana Wells is going off the field. They're hurt. But watch the offensive line, the surge. In the first half, the first 3 quarters, actually, you didn't see any of that. But watch the double team there. Peter Anderson, number 64, Ken Stevens, 68, really created a room for the running back to pick up those 4 or 5 yards.
Third down. 5 yards to go. Lane in motion. Jackson to Worley. And Worley has a first down just outside the 10-yard line. Worley and Henderson really starting to make their presence felt in the second half.
Again, you're going to look from the defensive side of the ball as Worley, who is a very big back, comes right at you. Again, the center, Peter Anderson, is dominating Jim Birmingham, the nose guard. It allows Worley to pick his hole and slip through there for a nice gain.
Looks like Dana Wells got a stinger on that arm, and he's come out. He's not very big, out of Brophy Prep in Phoenix. unorthodox type player. He'll probably be back. Here's a give to Worley, and he is dropped on the first down run at about the 10-yard line. Gain of 1. Alan Durden. Durden's not very big. He's 174 pounds, but he's not afraid to come up and hit people.
Excellent tackler. All those defensive backs are. There he was playing actually a corner position. They play him at both free safety and corner in some defenses. There he was lined up at corner and made the play.
Second down. They can get a first and goal at the 1-yard line. It's 2nd and 9. 10:23 left in the game. Arizona leads at 13-6. Give to Tate. Tate doesn't find any place to go. And all of a sudden, it's already 3rd down. And this is typical of these two teams. When you get inside that 20-yard line, they shorten the distance. You really have to lower your head and hope to get anything done at all.
Well, you mentioned, too, that Georgia has only thrown 3 touchdown passes all season long, which is an amazing statistic to me as well.
3rd down, 8. Lane and Hockaday split out to the top of the screen. Jackson gives off. Worley, and Worley is going to be just short of the first and goal. He needed to get to the 1, and he's, as you can see, about a yard short of that.
And I think they're going to go for it. But watch the cutback here of Worley. This Arizona defense is so aggressive, they're overrunning plays now. And Worley sees that. The good vision makes him cut back to his right, break a couple of tackles to bring the ball down to a 4th and short situation. Again, good offensive line blocking. You see 73 Bunelli, the defensive tackle, nose tackle for Arizona, get blocked very well. Good running by Worley, strong running. Arm tackles will not bring these guys down.
Boomer Gibson finally did. Georgia's asked for a timeout. We have a 4th down. A yard to go. 9:27 left. Georgia backed up into their own end zone. So, if they would score here, Pat, do you think Georgia would go for 2?
Absolutely.
Henderson, McCluskey, Tate in the backfield, and wait a minute. We're going to have a timeout by Arizona. So Larry Smith has called a timeout with 9:27. So Georgia, as a team, comes to the near sideline with Vince Dooley. Let's go down to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. The reason Lars Tate is in the ball game over Worley is because he's the better jumper. They had the play called. It was the play to jump over the line of scrimmage, but now they may rethink it a little bit. But Tate is the better jumper, and that's why he's in the ball game. Gary?
I'm always curious down here, Pat, if you're tempted to use a 2-point play.
Well, Georgia does have 3 2-point plays. Remember, they can still get the first down without scoring, though, too. But Georgia does have 3 2-point plays out of this formation with 3 backs in the game. One of them is a pass to Henderson. They run a sweep and then an option play.
But evidently, with Tate in there, they're going to come right at him, try to get the touchdown or the first and goal. They need a yard. It's 4th down, a yard to go.
I think they're really thinking first down here, not
I do, too. I think you're exactly right. And I think Arizona knew that, and they wanted to readjust, and they called the timeout. Here's Tate. Touchdown. Well, you can see why Steve Davis said Lars Tate was in. That wasn't even a contest, the way he went over. And now now they're not.
They are going for 1 point.
They are going for 1 point. It's 13-12. Point after attempt by Davis Jacobs. And it's all even.
Well, Steve Davis was absolutely right because Lars Tate, number 32, got up and over. Now, he's lined up 5 or 6 yards deep, and that allowed him to get enough momentum to get over the top. Now, watch the offensive line, which keeps all the Arizona defenders down. The fullback makes a beautiful block to keep the linebackers from stopping Tate, but that was a very good offensive line surge, which allowed Tate to get up and over the top.
And so Lars Tate, their goal line specialty man, the sophomore out of Indianapolis. Look at the elevation he gets as he takes it in, and we're all even at 13 with 9.5 minutes left to go. with Steve Davis. We're going to take one more look at Lars Tate, 2-yard catapulting effort for the touchdown.
How many times do you see Herschel Walker do the same thing? This is one of Vince Dooley's favorite plays down here. He's always had tailbacks who've been able to leap. I saw Herschel do it against Florida a couple times, and here Lars Tate does a wonderful job of getting up and over.
At the top of this broadcast, we said it would come to the fourth quarter. Both teams felt they were strong fourth quarter clubs. Thus far, Georgia has outscored Arizona 10-0 in this fourth stanza. 13 apiece. Davis Jacobs kicking off. They've changed the men back here. This time it's Derek Hill. He's the freshman. He can really run, and here he goes out to the 25. They took Eldridge out in favor of this man after Eldridge made a bad decision a moment ago. Let's go back to Steve Davis again.
Gary, one of the things that really has changed the atmosphere in the fourth quarter, if Max Zendejas is going to be the key player for Arizona, there's a strong wind. It has picked up dramatically. The temperature has dropped a little bit, so he's going to have everything to test his mettle as a kicker in the fourth quarter if it comes down to a field goal.
If anybody could do it, though, he could, Steve. From the 25 now, Arizona with the ball, 13 all our score, and nothing doing there. And guess who that is again? It's Henry Harris. He is a superb football player.
Boy, the change of emotion, though, right at the end of that third quarter when Georgia ran the fake punt, boy, the emotion and the line of scrimmage domination has changed from that point on. Henry Harris has been a thorn in many people's side. We had 7 tackles for losses against Georgia Tech. He's been in the backfield against Arizona all afternoon as well.
Arizona has never won a bowl game. They're 0-4. Right now, they're dead even, and all kinds of flags in the air. Moss indicating that Howell, the tight end, moved. Right now, you get the feeling Arizona's poise slipping away a little bit.
Well, Georgia has been in bowl games for years and years and years. Arizona has not been one since 1979. That can take its toll as well.
No penalty, no penalty.
No penalty. Yep. And they haven't scored an offensive touchdown today either, Pat. It was Martin Rudolph on an interception that scored the touchdown, a cornerback. But they find ways to win, and right now Larry Smith is seeking away again. 2nd and 11. Joe Pryor in the backfield with Adams. Jenkins pressure, setting up the screen to David Adams. 25, and a good open field tackle stops him at the 26. Just excellent reaction that time. Coming up was Loy. It was Andy Loy, number 39, who stopped him and kept him from making a lot of yardage.
You're right. Loy made a great open field tackle because this play was set up beautifully. I thought Adams was off to the races here. He has a couple of blockers in front of him, but Loy fights off those blockers and is there to put the stop on a very elusive David Adams. That's a great defensive play.
Both these teams are superb tackling teams. Not surprising that their defenses have been tough so many times. 3rd down and 9. 7:45 left in the game. Jenkins with a lot of time. Throws complete to McLemore, and I think he got the first down. I believe he got enough yardage across the 35. John Little knocked him out of bounds, and Jenkins had nice touch on that pass.
Yeah, nice little smile on his face, too. I like to see a quarterback do that. But that has been the rap somewhat against Jenkins, that he hasn't had touch. But I like the call here on a 3rd and 9. Many times people think you have to get ball down the field to the outside receivers, but here they didn't. They dumped it off to the tailback. There's the hit by, guess who? Henry Harris. And you can see a little smile there on Jenkins' face as they get the first down. A little pat on the back to Henry Harris.
That's only the 3rd first down in the second half by Arizona. Across the 35, first down. The pitch to Adams. No place to go. Bends it back, and he's going to lose some yardage. The Junkyard Dogs are camping out right now. Jake Richardson, John Brantley were there. And it looks like Richardson's taking himself out of the ball game as he holds his left arm. So it comes now to 2nd down and 12. Again, we remind you to stay with us. Louisville and Kentucky. There was a big upset here last night. Texas El Paso defeating Georgetown. It's going to be that kind of year. So the Bluegrass battle from Lexington coming up after this.
3 wide receivers in for Arizona right now.
And movement, that's Harris. And this is going to go against Georgia. You say Harris looks like he's offside. He was offside on that one.
Well, you know, I would go on a long count on him on quite often. I bet you could draw him off sides because he is so aggressive.
So that'll step it 5 yards up the field instead of a 2nd and 12. They're in much better position now at the 39-yard line.
Harris is not a great technique player. He moves around a lot, really kind of makes it up as he goes along, freelances. But Vince Dooley and the defensive coordinator there have allowed him the opportunity to do so, and boy, he has produced.
All 4 of those penalties against Georgia have been offside. So it's now a 2nd and 7 after the 5-yard penalty. Jenkins taking a lot of time, in trouble, steps up, and got back to about the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard gain. Calvin Rupp circling around, got him to alter his pass or his drop, and all of a sudden things broke down.
Well, this Georgia defense has such a reputation of putting pressure on the quarterback, and even when they don't blitz, you're thinking about it. And I think Alfred Jenkins was thinking about the blitz so much there, he was concerned about the blitz. He watched the pass rush rather than the coverage.
3rd down now, 8 yards to go. Fairholm has come in. Horton has come in. Derek Hill, 3 wideouts on this play. 5:55 left in the game. 13 all. Jenkins in trouble, and that is a fine defensive effort by Greg Waters. The first sack, and that is his 12th of the year.
And that was only a 3-man rush by Georgia, 8 in the defensive coverage, and they have 5 blockers, which should be able to control that. But Greg Waters is going to beat DiGiacomo, number 72. He tries to give him a little pull down the hook, give him a little hook on the arm, but Waters fights off that, points to him because he was being held, and still made the sack.
They call him the money man, and Jimmy Payson had the record for a year of sacks, 12. That was set in 1981. I should say Jimmy Payne, and he just came up with his 12th with that one. John Little back on this punt, makes a fair catch at the 37-yard line. 28-yard punt that time. And so Georgia, who has dominated this 4th quarter, outscoring the Wildcats 10-0, have it with 5:10 left. Now to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Gary. We documented that Georgia feels like the 4th quarter is their quarter. I talked to Joe Hollis, who is the offensive line coach. He said what they're going to do in this drive, widen their splits a little bit, create natural blocking lanes, and take the ball right down their throat. They claim the 4th quarter. Gary?
Steve, that's exactly what they've done. They've run right at them, force it down your throats. That concerned Larry Smith. It really wasn't evident, though, until the second half that they were able to accomplish that.
And Georgia really has some hosses back there in the backfield, too. There are 4 or 5 of those big
No, they're
backs.
dogs. They're not hosses. Henderson. And Keith Henderson out to the 42. The wind is at the back of Georgia, so if they have to kick a field goal, they'll have that advantage. And now Henderson's shaken up, and McCluskey will come in and replace the freshman. Henderson is, along with Worley, going to really cause some difficulties in the Southeastern Conference in the next 3 years. He averaged almost 7 yards a carry this season. 2 100-yard games, 145 yards in that win against Florida.
A natural running back. You know, some guys have that kind of knack. He does that. That great vision. Besides not only the great size, he has the vision to be able to cut back and things. You're going to get a look at the play where Henderson gets hurt. He's trying to cut it back again to go behind the center's block. He gets tripped up there from behind. Looks like one of his ankles there was bothering him, as it has been all year long. But it did. You saw, again, the cutback of Henderson. We've seen that 3 or 4 times today.
Second time he's had to take himself out of the game. On a 2nd down and 4, Worley, and a penalty flag thrown very late.
Face mask, I believe, against Arizona.
Brent Wood made the tackle. That's what it is. That will really help the Georgia cause. Georgia now, Pat, you talk about imbalance offensively. 62 rushing plays, 6 passes.
But they've been effective. They've done what they want to do in staying close. They wanted to stay close coming down to the 4th quarter. Now they're tied. They're moving now. Their offensive line has begun to dominate the line of scrimmage. As Steve Davis said, they're opened up their split some, and that allows them to pick their way up and get some holes inside. And this Arizona defense has been on the field an awful long time this second half.
This half, Georgia dominating there, and of course they have scored 10 unanswered points in the 4th quarter. And it's all even at 13. You see the time remaining. Henderson is back into the game. And carrying is the man, Henderson, so he came back in a hurry, didn't he?
You know, it might be interesting. It might come down to a field goal, in which, of course, Georgia might have a short field goal, but Arizona's been so good in blocking kicks, it's going to be quite an interesting war to see.
Right now, Georgia's thinking touchdown as they have a 2nd down 7 with 4 minutes, 10 seconds. They are moving it, and I am so impressed how they have been mentally and physically so tough in this 4th quarter.
Vince Dooley really knows how to manipulate the clock, use the clock up, and give himself a chance to win at the end of the ball game.
Here comes Henderson again. Ooh, bent back. Be careful. You can get hurt that way.
Both knees going to get hurt.
Byron Evans was shoving him back.
Now, as mentioned a little bit earlier, Gary, I have seen Georgia do this on a number of occasions. In '83, they did it in Florida, and then, of course, the Cotton Bowl a couple years ago against Texas, and Clemson this year. Little intercepts 2 balls at the end of the game there to preserve that victory. It really is amazing what a mental attitude can do when you expect to win these kind of games.
Hey, Georgia, for 3:30, they've got a ways to go yet to get to the field goal range of their guy. They're now at the 44 of Arizona and a 3rd down. Here's Worley, and that is a big run. That is a 1st down run to the 35 of the U of A. 1st down, 3:17. They stop the clock as they move the chains. Well, you know, earlier they started to come in with Crumley, and then they had that 5-yard penalty, remember, and they went with Jacobs.
Well, if they're in a field goal position anywhere between the 20 and 25, I believe you're going to see Crumley. Anything longer than that, I believe you'll see Jacobs.
In motion is Archie. Worley, and Worley got 2, maybe 3 yards on the play.
The Arizona defense has caused all those turnovers today, but Georgia really has been remarkable at hanging on to the football. Arizona has caused usually 2 turnovers a game with it, which they've recovered. And that's what this defense needs to do right now, is come up with some sort of play, some sort of momentum-shifting big play, and give their offense a chance.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. Henderson, and now Lars Tate is the tailback. On the option is Jackson. And that shows you the speed of Arizona, how they got out there, Chuck Cecil in particular. There's Jacobs. He kicked the last field goal. Crumley earlier. And I think, Pat, you've analyzed it well. If they are within the distance of 20, 25, 30, they'll go with this man. Outside that, the other man.
You know, I've never been a kicker, obviously, but I'd say what these guys go through, the mental anguish, when you know you got a 3rd down situation like this, you know you might be called on to come in and win a football game. It's awfully tough.
3rd and 6. Over 200 yards rushing in this game now for Georgia. Tate hit by Byron Evans. He'll be short of the 1st down, so it's 4th down now. Crumley or Jacobs? It's going to be an interesting decision by Vince Dooley, but he's made a lot of them in his 22 years at Georgia. They're a good 3 yards, maybe 2.5 away from a 1st down. They're letting the clock run down, and they're going to bring in Jacobs. Davis Jacobs. This guy may be the hero of the game for somebody who wasn't even expected to play.
He's got a tough angle for a sidewinder, though. He's on the right hash mark. It's a little bit easier for the straight-on kicker, which Crumley is.
We're going to have a timeout called by Georgia. They have 1 left. 1:14 to go. And Davis Jacobs, who earlier kicked a field goal from 45 yards away, has another one. I think Larry Smith kind of likes the pressure. His football team is dead even right now. 14 seconds left. Davis Jacobs, the backup field goal kicker, is coming in to attempt a 44-yard field goal. Earlier, he kicked a 45-yarder, a career high. He's kicked 3 for the year, and he's replaced the injured Steve Crumley. Larry Smith, who has 1 game with Zendejas, doing the same thing, now has to hang on and hope he misses, but there's another factor, and that is that Arizona's good at blocking them.
Like we said, they've blocked 18 kicks over the past 4 years, 2 field goal attempts this year, but Arizona has to be careful in not being offsides, because if they are, that's a Georgia 1st down.
So Jacobs will attempt it from 44 yards away. And the kick is up. It's no good.
Now, will Zendejas reminder, you can look here. It's on the right hash mark, which in college football is a very difficult angle. He just hooks it a little bit too much. And he was so confident on the earlier one that he made, he knew it right away when he had made it. This time, he thinks he had, but it just hooked a little bit too much.
And so Arizona now has the football at the 27-yard line. 1:09 left, and they have 2 timeouts remaining. Jenkins to Adams. Adams comes out, and you know they want to get to Max's range now. Is there another fumble?
Who said there was a fumble?
Nope. I think he was down on that play. With a minute to go, line of scrimmage at 35. They're going without a huddle. 2 timeouts left.
We need to get over the 50-yard line to give Zendejas a chance.
Wouldn't it be something to give him a shot at the record here? He has kicked a 57-yarder. The record here in the Sun Bowl is 62, and that was dropped by McLemore. There he is.
He has won 2 ball games in his career at Arizona. As a freshman, he kicked a field goal as time expired against Notre Dame. And he beat ASU, I believe, in 1983 with a game-ending field goal.
They beat him this year, too.
That's right.
Field goal. So you see the time and you see the timeouts, and it's a 3rd down, 2 yards to go for Arizona. And that's just too tall for Horton to come up with.
I think John Horton lost that ball in the sun.
So now it's 4th down and 2 yards to go. I want to thank our statistician Mike Swanson, our spotter Trey Bender for their job today.
A nice job. Trey Bender is going to be a Jayhawk next year. Boy, he's done a nice job for you this year. It's Gary's son.
Well, we're glad to get you out of the studio, get you back to the real football. And coming up next is Louisville, Kentucky, coming up immediately after this one. On a 4th down 2, Adams has got it. 45, 50, 45, 40, and what a miraculous run by David Adams. They went for it on 4th and 2, and he went 25 yards.
A really nice call by the Arizona defense. A little draw. Georgia put so much pressure on you. It's a funny kind of draw. David Adams with that incredible change of direction that we've talked about so many times before. He is now, they are definitely now in field goal range. Arizona has called a timeout to talk about it.
They have 1 timeout left. This is just a remarkable spinning effort by Adams. You know, you had to think a little bit about not going for it on 4th and 2, Pat, because then you'd have left Georgia in excellent field position had you not made it. But they went for it. And Arizona now is thinking, let's get Mr. Zendejas in.
Unbelievable move. It was almost caught for a loss here, but you can see him break a tackle there. And then you see a little dipsy-do. And then he cuts back inside. He gets a block from his receiver, Hill, number 82. And he brings the ball way down. Picked up that very critical 1st down. Now it's going to be really interesting to see what Arizona does now. They got 28 seconds left with 1 timeout. Do they move the ball in the middle of the field, or do they try to gain 5 more yards?
Right now it'd be a 56-yard field goal. And Zendejas has obviously been able to reach it from that distance. That run of 25 yards, Pat, a big play, obviously. Prior to it, Adams had gained only 21 in 11 attempts. There they go. 1st down at the 39. Fairholm in motion. Jenkins to Fairholm. He'll be dropped. It's a 1st down with 21 seconds, a 12-yard pickup on the play. And they're going without another huddle. They're still moving it up, and they really have moved Zendejas into excellent position. They have 1 timeout left. They give to Adams, and he gets them closer. And now Arizona will ask for a timeout and bring in Zendejas.
Play before the pass to Jeff Fairholm. Now, this defense has been vulnerable to outside routes all year long. Fairholm finds a little dead spot in the zone defense in front of Little. There, that was a big catch, brought them down. That's going to set up this game-winning field goal for Zendejas.
39 yards away. He's done this so often.
What a finish.
You wonder if he can do it again.
3 times in his career.
10 seconds left, 13 all, and this will decide it. Troy Lawton will hold. He's hit from 22 and 52. It's no good.
Really a surprise. They lined the ball right up in the middle of the field, so we have a straight-on angle, but he just pushed it right all the way. He's been in these pressure situations before. He just mishit it. It wasn't a matter, I don't believe, of him clamping or choking. He's won games for the Wildcats before. He knew it right away when he kicked it. A miserable way to end an unbelievable career at Arizona.
You almost expect it to be automatic, and it's never automatic. 4 seconds left. Jackson, desperation pass, everybody back, and it's intercepted. Alan Durden ends the ball game, and we end in a tie. Last tie they had 1940, Pat, and it was a scoreless tie between Catholic University and Arizona State. Significant, I thought, was how Larry Smith went up to Zendejas after he missed, put his arm around him.
Well, he's won a number of games for Larry Smith over his career. Larry Smith, he's done wonderful things for that program.
Well, he's building his own tradition. The first bowl game in 6 years.
He's beaten Notre Dame in the past. He beat SMU this year. He's beaten Arizona State 4 straight times. He's got it started there at Arizona.
His 5th consecutive winning season at the U of A. Well, I'll tell you, I'm sitting here thinking about all the excitement we've had, and we still have more to come. Louisville and Kentucky. Let's go now to Rupp Arena. Let's join Brent Musburger. He and Billy Packer will be bringing you the game in a moment.
All right, Garrett.